सुप्रभात। आप सभी का आज के पैनल डिस्कशन में हार्दिक स्वागत है। Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you. Today, we have gathered here to discuss an extremely significant and inspiring topic, promoting rural women entrepreneurs. ग्रामीण महिलाएं ना सिर्फ अपनी परिवार के लिए बल्कि अपने समाज और देश के लिए भी एक शक्ति और प्रेरणा का स्रोत हैं. Empowering them to become successful entrepreneurs is essential for fostering inclusive growth and sustainable development. Today's panel discussion aims to explore ideas, strategies, and success stories that can guide us towards this goal. For the benefit of the audience, today's panel discussion will be a mix of Hindi and English. आज हमारे साथ एक प्रतिष्ठित स्पीकर्स का पैनल मौजूद है जो अपने साथ अनुभव और ज्ञान की संपदा लेकर आया है. Without further ado, let me invite them to the stage. First, I'm honored to invite our distinguished keynote speaker, Ms. Smriti Saran, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, to the stage. आइए जोरदार तालियों के साथ इनका मंच पर स्वागत करें. Ms. Saran belongs to the 1993 batch of the Indian Postal Services. She currently oversees initiatives related to rural livelihood mission and the Lakpati Didi program. Under her leadership, transformative policies have empowered countless rural communities. A big round of applause for Ms. Smriti Saran. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Prasun Kumar Das, Secretary General, Asia Pacific Rural and Agricultural Credit Association, to the stage. Dr. Das is an expert in sustainable financing for agriculture and rural enterprises. He leads APRACA, representing 98 financial institutions across 24 countries. He has authored numerous publications on green and agricultural value chain financing. Let us hear it for him with a hearty round of applause. I now invite Dr. Gloria Swarupa, Director General, National Institute of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, to the stage. Dr. Swarupa holds a PhD in the area of entrepreneurship and skill development with over 25 years of experience. Her work in policy advocacy and mentoring has transformed lives across India. Let us put our hands together to welcome Dr. Swarupa. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Kalpana Ajayan, Regional Head, South Asia, Women Words Banking, to the stage. Ms. Ajayan, with 25 plus years of experience in financial services, has worked with global organizations like Citibank and HSBC. She's an expert in strategy and leadership development. आइए तालियों की गूंज के साथ इनका मंच पर स्वागत करें. अब मैं मिस सुवर्णा नारायण काले, जो कि सुयोग एग्री बिजनेस कॉरपोरेशन की फाउंडर हैं, उनको मंच पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी. Ms. Kale is a visionary entrepreneur who founded Suyog Agribusiness Corporation and leads the Savitribai Phule goat farming producer company with over 1,000 shareholders. कृपया जोरदार तालियों के साथ इनका मंच पर स्वागत करें. Next, I call upon stage Ms. Abhilasha Bahuguna, co-founder and director, Looms of Ladakh. Ms. Bahuguna is a pioneer in rural development and community building in Ladakh. She co-founded Looms of Ladakh, which empowers women in frontier villages through skill development. Let us give a big round of applause to our esteemed panelist as she joins us on the stage. I now request our distinguished keynote speaker, To guide us through this enriching discussion, we are fortunate to have with us an exceptional moderator. I now request our distinguished moderator, Dr. A.K. Sood, Deputy Managing Director, NABARD, to come on stage. कृपया तालियों के साथ इनका जोरदार अभिनंदन करें. Dr. Sood holds a PhD in Agricultural Economics from the Indian Agricultural Research Institute. With a robust background in agricultural development and rural banking, he has served in various capacities across Indian states. He has contributed significantly to rural infrastructure development, strengthening rural financing institutions, and supporting grassroots and community groups. Before joining NABARD, he served as a scientist at the Indian Council of Agricultural Research. A big round of applause for him. I now request our distinguished keynote speaker, Ms. Saran, to say a few words. Over to you, madam.
Suprabhat, good morning. And I think it's still not very late to wish all of you a very joyous, fulfilling 2025. And by virtue of all of you being in the same hall, I will take the liberty to club you as that part of that cohort that works towards building the nation, building entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, and also working towards India's prosperity. सभी गणमान्य अतिथि, देवियों और सज्जनों, मैं आज आपके समक्ष यहाँ पे हूँ और एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा हम डिस्कस करेंगे, which is देश का भविष्य क्या है. And that future, ladies and gentlemen, is about empowering women entrepreneurs of rural India. As we delve into this, we need to acknowledge that the data and insights that have shaped our understanding of the current landscape. ये जो सूक्ष्म और nano enterprise जिसको हम बोलते हैं, and along the same chain, the small and the micro enterprises, these are pivotal for India's economic aspirations, particularly for reaching in the League of Developed Nations by 2047, to be able to call ourselves Viksit Bharat. There are substantial contributors, these micro enterprises are substantial contributors to exports, to GDP and employment. Rural regions are brimming with entrepreneurial potential, especially among women who are under-leveraged, yet a vital workforce. The Government of India is fostering an ecosystem whereby we work in collaboration with various other ministries to bring about this rural women empowerment. दीन दयाल अंत्योदय राष्ट्रीय आजीविका मिशन, जिसको हम NRLM या आजीविका मिशन इन शॉर्ट बोलते हैं, मुद्रा योजना, ये कुछ चुनिंदा स्कीम्स हैं जो इन सब पहलुओं पे अपने सारे रिसोर्सेज को पूल इन करने के लिए हमें facilitate करता है. Targeted efforts to uplift rural women, particularly small-scale producers, have the potential to enhance incomes and stimulate rural economies. With this perspective, the Government of India remains committed to comprehensive rural development through integrated and sustainable initiatives. DNRLM is supporting 100 million women, and this has established this program as one of the largest community platforms dedicated to women's social and economic empowerment. ये जो महिलाओं का समूह है, ये विश्व का सबसे बड़ा ऑर्गेनाइज समूह है जो महिलाओं के एम्पावरमेंट और उनकी समृद्धि के रूप में आवश्यक कार्य किए जा रहा है पिछले कई वर्षों और दशकों से. आप सभी जानते हैं कि एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर हमारा बैकबोन है रूरल इकोनॉमी का, एंड इट इज सस्टेन्ड बाय द tireless efforts of women. And most often, this effort is seen and yet unseen. And we will come to those when we discuss the challenges. So their crucial role intact, only a fraction of gender-focused bilateral finance in agriculture and rural development truly prioritize gender as a core component. This must change. We need to shift our strategy towards a more gender-centric approach, one that not only recognizes the contributions of women, but also empowers them. Self-help groups have emerged as a beacon of transformation in this context, and they have proven to be a testament of resilience and capabilities of rural women who've maintained impressively low NPA. Even as we talk, our NPA, non-performing asset, is at 1.64, which goes on to show that how creditworthy, how trustworthy towards repayment commitment our rural women are. वो दरवाज़ा क्या हम बंद कर सकते हैं? बहुत noise आ रही है. Our vision aligns with making each rural woman an entrepreneur and thereby also making them a Lakpati Didi, which is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. We are committed to making 3 crore Lakpati Didis in the next 2 to 3 years. And therefore, it's important to diversify beyond the traditional agriculture into other activities which are entrepreneurial in nature. पर ये जो एंटरप्राइज की जर्नी है, ये काफ़ी कठिन है महिलाओं के लिए. बैंकिंग सेक्टर के सभी मित्र इससे भली भांति परिचित होंगे. हमारी महिला उद्यमियों को लोन लेने में काफ़ी कठिनाई होती है. उनकी जो क्षमता है, उनकी जो स्किल एनहांसिंग है एंटरप्रेन्योर बनने के लिए, उसमें भी काफ़ी चैलेंजेस हैं. और यही नहीं, जब मार्केट एक्सेसिंग की बात आती है, जब बड़े मार्केट्स के साथ कन्वर्ज करने की बात होती है या बैकवर्ड फॉरवर्ड लिंकेज की बात होती है, वहाँ पे जो महिला होने का हैंडीकैप होता है वो बहुत स्टार्कली विजिबल होता है सबके लिए. इसलिए इन परेशानियों को एड्रेस करने के लिए कई सारे महत्वपूर्ण इनिशिएटिव्स हैं जो हम सबको मिलके करने हैं in a whole of government approach, and first of all is capacity building. हमारी ग्रामीण महिलाएं टेक्निकल और एंटरप्रेन्योरियल स्किल से वंचित रह जाती हैं. जो भी रीजंस हैं, सोशल हैं, इकोनॉमिक हैं, कल्चरल हैं. पर यदि विकसित भारत की मुहिम को रियली छेड़ना है और उसको अर्जित भी करना है, तो इस सबसे बड़े चैलेंज को सबसे पहले ओवर करना बहुत आवश्यक है. Insufficient training, limited access to skill initiatives, financial independence, economic empowerment, ये सब कहीं बीच रास्ते में ही छूट जाते हैं. और जब तक हम डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स को लेवरेज नहीं करेंगे, तब तक हम इस कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग को सही मायने में अंजाम भी नहीं दे सकते. अगला महत्वपूर्ण बिंदु है फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन. DNRLM, बैंकिंग सेक्टर, प्राइवेट एज वेल एज गवर्नमेंट पार्टनर्स के साथ इसमें बहुत गहन रूप से और बहुत बढ़िया कार्य कर रहा है. लेकिन फिर भी अगर हमें फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन की अगली सीढ़ी को पार करना है, तो हमें भी अपने माइंडसेट्स को चेंज करना पड़ेगा. अपनी जो लर्नड कैपेसिटीज़ है उनको एनहांस करना पड़ेगा. You are aware that the SAG ecosystem and the community resource persons which we have established have brought about the entrepreneurial support, and they've also ensured a very healthy habit of credit repayment, which also points back to our low NPA. India has made significant progress in financial inclusion, and in the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, over 52.81 crore Jan Dhan accounts have been opened, out of which a good 56% are held by women, and 66.6% if we include the rural and semi-urban areas. That in no way is a mean achievement. It's quite a laudable achievement. So congratulations to all of you who've worked with the government on this effort. And it is time that we direct our energies to greater efforts from not mere financial, but also towards investment towards economic prosperity. Infrastructure development is vital, and attempts like digital platforms, building more robust rural infrastructure, which includes road, etc., are going to be pivotal for this. NRLM can play a very significant role in this because we can create community-owned, and community-managed infrastructure, which can boost enterprise in rural areas. And this will address socio-economic challenges which hinder rural development. Strengthening market linkages is very crucial. Marketing hubs, e-commerce, initiatives like geographical indication tagging can elevate our value of products. Our digital transactions have risen from 2,071 crores in 17-18 to almost 19,000 crores in 23-24, which signals a very significant shift towards moving a more cashless economy. And to ensure that rural areas, particularly women, are not left behind, it's important to promote digital literacy. I'm very happy to share that in partnership with Rural Reserve Bank of India, we've been spearheading a digital literacy campaign, which in years to come would really tap the entire rural geography and make sure that our women are as digital literate as they are literate in terms of education, and maybe more. Apart from these initiatives, it is also important that we undertake marketing events, which we already do, like Saras Mela and Rural Art. And we've also laid greater emphasis on connecting women entrepreneurs to modern market chain through e-commerce platforms, corporate buyback facilities, and other digital marketing channels. Efforts should be made to prepare women entrepreneurs to access international markets. That should be our focus now. And for this, collaboration is necessary. We've collaborated with Ministry of Food Processing to lead the PM FME, and I'm very proud to state that almost 80% of the offtake from the scheme is by National Rural Livelihood Mission, where we equip the self-help group women for enterprise. ONDC and other similar platforms have also given us that leverage. ये तो वो बातें हैं जो हमने अभी बताई हैं, जो कि हम सबको पता है कि इन सब विषयों पे हमें काम करना आवश्यक है. लेकिन कुछ चीज़ें जो मैं NRLM में काम करते वक्त अपने अनुभवों के बारे में भी साझा करना चाहती हूँ. सरकार में पिछले 6-7 महीने में बहुत गहन रूप से इस विषय पे चिंतन हो रहा है that what next? हमने महिलाओं को सशक्त किया, एम्पावर किया, उनके लाइवलीहुड डाइवर्सिफाई किए, लेकिन अगला चरण क्या है? और उसके लिए काफ़ी सारे बुद्धिजीवियों ने, थिंक टैंक्स ने, मल्टीलैटरल एजेंसीज़ ने और सरकार के विभिन्न अंगों ने बहुत सोच विचार किया, और हमने कई सारे स्टडी ग्रुप्स बनाए थे जिन्होंने की बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट फाइंडिंग्स दी. पूरा विस्तार में तो मैं नहीं बताऊंगी, पर जो उनके सिग्निफिकेंट ऑब्जर्वेशंस हैं जिसको कि हम सबको अच्छे रूप से जान लेना चाहिए, वो है द डिफ़िकल्टी इन ट्रांजिशन. द ट्रांजिशन फ्रॉम नैनो इनटू हायर लेवल एंटरप्राइजेस is a very big red flag right now. Not just that, access to customized financial products is a very big issue. एक plain vanilla financial product गांव की हर महिला के लिए काम नहीं आता. हर geography, हर व्यवसाय, हर enterprise की कुछ specific requirements हो सकती हैं. उनके व्यवसाय का fruition coefficient different हो सकता है. तो उसके बारे में उसको देख करके हमें कस्टमाइज फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट्स बनाने हैं. एक बहुत गंभीर विषय है जिसके बारे में हम सब बात करते हैं, वो है डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड. सन 2050 तक हालांकि हमारी पॉपुलेशन तभी भी यूथफुल होगी, लेकिन टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द एल्डरली विल ऑल्सो बी issue that we will have to look after. Are we prepared to look at the care economy as an enterprise? Are we ready to train and invest in that? Are we also ready to take this as a global challenge and develop care economy in such a way that our trained people are providing this service across the world? That is what we should be looking at. And it is not charity, it is going to be developed into a full-fledged enterprise, जिसके कि कई सारे आयाम हैं जो कि एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप्स को इस पे भी सोचना होगा. और इन सब में सबसे बड़ी बात जो मैंने बोली भी वो ये है, वो है स्किलिंग. लार्ज स्केल स्किलिंग ऑफ नॉट जस्ट इन द ट्रेडिशनल सेक्टर्स. हमने शुरुआत की, हमने हथकरघा, अचार, पापड़, ट्रेडिशनल प्रोडक्ट से की, लेकिन अब स्किलिंग एक बहुत हायर दर्जे की चाहिए हमारी महिला एंटरप्राइजेस एंड एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को, जिससे कि वी कैन ब्रेक ऑन टू द इंटरनेशनल सेक्टर. एंड फॉर दिस we've been talking to a lot of people on a one-to-one basis, and I will just read out a couple of issues which bother us, our teams at NRLM, and I will urge you to have a look at it. लोग कहते हैं फॉर्मलाइजेशन नहीं होता छोटे उद्यम का, लेकिन हम पूछते हैं कि what is the incentive for them to formalize? If I formalize my small enterprise on the Udyam portal, what do I get in return? What is in it? What is there for me? Are you going to give me a loan without hassles? Are you going to handhold me? Are you going to provide me with incubation services? Sadly, the answer is not a very clear yes here. इसलिए ये भी आवश्यक है कि हम प्रोसेस सिंप्लीफिकेशन की तरफ बात करें. Loan applications need to be simplified, and formalization processes need to be simplified. And this, ladies and gentlemen, should be touched upon as soon as we can and in bigger groups. Because policies हैं, हम सबके effort हैं, but it's not translating on the ground level. Next is appropriate products. The products that we make should be aligned to the nature of business, what the SHG women need, and what the women entrepreneurs take. एक बात जो हमने हमेशा बोली और मैं इस पोडियम से भी बोलना चाहूँगी कि SHG women को लोन लेने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं होती, लेकिन अब गोइंग फॉरवर्ड women entrepreneurs को हम कितनी आसानी से लोन दे सकते हैं, ये चर्चा का विषय है. Are we as keen to give loan to women, individual women entrepreneurs? So please, we need to dwell on that. Also, don't resort to miniaturization. We have one plain vanilla product which caters to a big concept. We just try to bring it down to an SHG level. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. And recognizing this, a lot of bankers led by State Bank of India and a lot of other bankers developed simplified banking products. SBI calls it Swam Siddha, PNB calls it something else, and other Canara Bank and others call it something else. However, the offtake is low. And why is it so? Because while we've simplified the product, the process is yet to be simplified. And the process has to be simplified at the last mile delivery. Is the branch manager going to understand my entrepreneurial woman's issues and then give her a loan product, give her repayment options? And why just a loan product? I'm looking about bilateral finance. I'm talking about equity. I'm talking about the whole envelope of products which can set up larger enterprises. Can we free them of this very systematic loan repayment? Because maybe she will need a good 6 months or a year to even stand on her feet and begin the production. So that's where we need to talk about. So while Swam Siddha and other such schemes has been an initiative, but a lot more needs to be done. What we need are incentives for formalization. We also need appropriate products, and Ladies and gentlemen, NRLM is committed to creating the necessary support structure in collaboration with departments of GOI, with NABARD, with RBI, with international agencies, and all our development sector partners. I will give you an example, the Didis who we meet on a daily basis. She's comfortable running that small informal enterprise, but she's very scared to upscale it, because the minute she formalizes it, who's going to handhold her for all the compliances? She's very nervous about those. And the compliances are so many. It could be phytosanitary, it could be tax related, it could be statutory. Who's going to help her with that? So we need to demystify this whole realm where we tell them that, "Arey tax bharna padega, arey kagaz dene padenge, arey auditors dekhenge aapke kagaz." It's not so difficult if we simplify the processes and walk them through. So that is the need of the hour. You know, it seems like a big scare that prevents most of our women in formalizing their enterprises. So to sum up, the empowerment of rural women entrepreneurs transcends mere economic metrics. It is a conduit to holistic societal progress, encompassing job creation, poverty reduction, and stimulation of innovation. It calls for a unified commitment from government bodies, financial institutions, private sector, and civil society. And I would like to emphasize, in this next effort that the government is going to launch, private sectors have a very important role to play. What those contours would be, how can we make it a mutually synergized ecosystem, is something that we need to dwell upon at various similar such forums. The collective commitment is the cornerstone upon which more equitable and prosperous future will be built. Thank you very much for hearing me out, and I do hope that the panel session that we will just have will answer a couple of my questions that I've just raised. Thank you. Namaskar.
A big round of applause for our distinguished keynote speaker. Thank you, madam, for your powerful and inspiring words. I now request our eminent lead speaker, Dr. Prasun Das, to give his speech. Over to you, sir.
I have a presentation. If anybody can show the presentation, please. Yeah, good morning to all of you, my colleagues on the dais, and also my distinguished colleagues from all over the country. Maybe some of you are working in this space of how to empower the women enterprises. My presentation here will have two parts. The part one, because I'm coming from a different perspective of working in the Asia Pacific region and working closely with most of the financial institutions, including development financial institutions and the central banking system. So I will be dealing with some of them as a regional, and few of them will be from India. You can relate that India is no exception to the others. So the word I used here is the breaking the barrier, as I fully agree with Madam Saran about how to break the barriers. We have barriers. I mean, it's accepted. We accept that. And as a banker, I mean, happen to be a banker in my olden days, we used to see women enterprises also from the banker's lens. Now we need to change. We need to see the women also as enterprise, not as a no entity. So coming to the, is it working? Yeah. So the context, I have two contexts here, is one on the regional and the global. as you can see that in the global context, the gender gap everywhere is not in India, but everywhere gender gap is important, and especially in case of entrepreneurship. If you see even the global top 10 or top 20, even top 100, I'm not going to the rural, but even in the global enterprises, it is the women-led enterprises are very less. And that brings us to conclude that we have women-led enterprises, but they are very few in numbers. So there must be some barriers, some hindrance, some entry level issues. So what are those? And with the increasing contribution of the women enterprises to the economic development, it is not only important to increase the participation, but also to mainstream them. So the entrepreneurial, as I agree with what Madam Saran said about entrepreneurial skills and also the digital financial literacy, which will be kind of a more of a rural discussion rather than conversation at the urban areas. But definitely, in the Indian context, if you see the Indian context, there is a study of the ILO stat. It said that there is a decline in the women labor force, and it has come down to 21%, which is less than the global average of 47%, and also very less in terms of Asia-Pacific region. If you see the East Asia, Southeast Asia, the women labor force are contributing more to the economic development rather than in India. So these are the crux of the issues we have to deal with. Coming to the fostering women enterprises, why we need it. Now, if you see the women of the low-income countries, there are 6 areas which the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor in 2022-23, they came up with a study of 175,000 women enterprises across the globe in all 3 major continents, and they came up with 6 major points. And they are very interesting. One of them, women from the low-income countries are more likely to have entrepreneurial ambitions, which is 28.2% compared to high-income countries, 11%. So we are still in that part. So our women should be more entrepreneurial than the high-income countries. There has been a rise in the high-growth entrepreneurship by women, which is globally 1 in 4 women enterprises expect to see growth within 5 years by employing 6 or more people. It means that if you see the employment generation, the study says that the women entrepreneurs can bring more employment into the system. The third one is that the younger women that they are driving the enterprises. It means that we have to catch them young. So that slogan must be more relevant at this point of time. The fourth one, there are more women solopreneurship. It means that if you see our SHG movement in India, which is globally considered as one of the largest and most important social engineering. So this is even if you see the solopreneurship, which is also very important in the countries like India, where if you see the solo entrepreneur, there are possibility of growing more. The fifth one is that there are more business exit. Means if you are 100 entering, exit is more than that, and that is around 150 is exiting when 100 is entering. It means that there is a requirement of more mentorship, which is so that especially in case of agriculture, the exit is more. In case of Bangladesh, in India, it is more. And finally, the job scarcity. Job scarcity for the women are less, so they are going into more into the enterprises. So these are the few observations by the World Economic Forum. Now coming to the women enterprises accessing the financial services. This is basically our forte of our work in this region. We did a study in 9 countries, including India, and what we have found out some of the facts, and we tried to fit it into the impact of that. So the facts remain that financial inclusion is not just a driver of economic growth, but inclusive and sustainable growth. Madam said that no one should be left behind. It is also the United Nations slogan, no one should be left behind. But we do leaving behind our women folk who are considering about more than 50% of the population. Then the globally women have fewer economic opportunities, less than 50%, which is even worse in case of Asia Pacific region, which is based on the Findex study. The impacts are the millions of growing rural enterprises in Asia Pacific region report inadequate access to the capital necessary to grow their business. I also want to add what Madam said about the market accessing, because our area is mostly the accessing the finance, but finance is not only one factor or one input, must be added with the market. Now coming to one of our few of my observations on the gender financing gap in India. We talk about lot about startup. Just think the startups. How many startups? How many Shark Tank? Women entrepreneurship. It's very few. You cannot even count. Also, in percentage they are not coming. So very few of them, and we do case studies based on 1 or 2, which we should not do it. No, that we want to showcase as they can do it, so others can do it. But what is that? Who are the source? Where are they will get it? So first, India has a gender funding gap. Just 0.3% of India's venture capital funding are going to women-led startups in 2021, which is a very alarming condition. Then, 85% of the women enterprises face challenges in availing loan services. This is also by the public sector banks. It is a study by one of the NGO, Bharatiya Yuva Shakti Trust. So these are all available in the public domain. Then women-led businesses face an unmet credit gap of more than $11.4 billion, which is a huge opportunity for the banking sector. And this study was done by the International Finance Corporation, the World Bank study. Coming to the APRACA study, what are the issues to ponder upon? Financial institutions in South and Southeast Asia, this is not only for India, but entire South and Southeast Asia. What we found that they are facing issues related to the land ownership. I think all of you will agree it is not only in India but other parts of South Asia as well, the land ownership. The women group and the cooperatives proved to be bankable, SHGs. In Vietnam, I was just discussing before we were coming, Vietnam, how the women groups are supporting the rice production in the central part of Vietnam. In Cambodia, there is a project of, it's a huge project of World Bank in 3 countries where all the enterprises are the women enterprises. And they are supporting the value chain to develop in Cambodia. So these are very interesting cases. Countries in East Asia, for example, like Korea, South Korea, China, Japan, and the Pacific region, Fiji, Vanuatu, and all these places. Women enterprises are very important, play a very important role in the local economy. Basically, I think our prime ministers, one of our prime ministers' slogan is vocal for local. The local economy development done by the women enterprises are very much significant. And feminization of the smallholder agriculture in countries like India, Nepal, and Indonesia. We just did a project in Indonesia in two provinces where we worked closely with the women farmers. Those who are used to work for the cacao production, now they have shifted to the rice. So that's a social engineering we have done with them, and it become easier to approach them when it comes to the welfare of the family. If you approach them with the welfare of the family, then it becomes very easy to change their approach. Then coming to few of the business cases, I would like to give some, some of the business cases here. For 3 business cases, I'll discuss here. I'm not going into the detail, but if you can, all of them are provided with a link. You can go to the link and also see those. One of them is coming to the women in water management. What we did along with the Agriculture and Rural Development Bank in Cambodia, we, along with the AIMS project, which is Asian Development Bank and APRACA, we jointly supported the bank to provide this particular small irrigation system, which is non-plastic. Small irrigation, but no plastic. So that's very important. So there are 2 USP here. So one is that no plastic and small irrigation system. So this is we provided the technical support, how to know what will be the space, how much will be the space between the 2 rows and all these things. So this is very, very important, and all of them, all the beneficiaries are women. All of them are women. Not only in the irrigation, but in the value chain also, like sorting, grading, going to the market, all of them. So this is, you can see our link is also there. Now, next one is on the goat farming in Nepal. In Nepal, goat always we consider is at an ATM, anytime money. If you have goat in a village area, they can sell it and they can get money. But the problem is when you have goat less than 5, it is not economically sustainable. So what we did there with the HVAP project, High Value Agriculture Project in Hills and Mountains, we bring with the same SHG concept. We used the SHG concept of India in Nepal, brought them together, and then we provided them with the funding for the thatched roof and all these things. So that become very interesting, and then we added 1 or 2 features on them. One of them is mutual insurance, mutual benefit insurance into that. The third one is with the Fiji Development Bank. So this is also very interesting project where the micro enterprises were funded by the Fiji Development Bank, one of APRACA's member, only to the women enterprises. So these are very interesting projects we have undertaken. There are many more like this. I just want to give you some glimpses of these, the projects we have undertaken and how successful. Some of them are definitely not so successful, but coming to the APRACA's engagement current with the international agencies, like as Madam was telling about how to get support from the international agencies. Currently, we are implementing one project in the climate finance where we are targeting only vulnerable women enterprises. So our USP of this project, which is funded by the International Climate Initiative, is only to support with a climate finance product from the development financial institutions, targeting only the vulnerable community, which is identified by us. Then next, we are also working closely with the FAO on the hand-in-hand project, which is a signature project at the moment of FAO on identifying, because we do not have the segregated data. Even at a central bank level, we do not have the segregated data on how many women farmers or women enterprises have been identified and financed and what is the amount. So we are trying to get it in 5 countries in this region. There is also FAO APRACA. We have developed 2 voluntary guidelines for financing the women enterprises in fisheries. So these are based on our experiences in Lombok Island in Indonesia. So some of the key messages here from our study, that there are many initiatives across the region for the financial inclusion, but it need to be continuation. It should not be like a project-based. It should be like a sustainable. And then documentation of dissemination. So we do a lot of work, but documentation still is not that much. It's missing. So we need to have the documentation. Then I think Madam was talking about the product and price, that we call it the 5P approach, product, price, promotion, place, and people, that need to be across the process. All of us should have all these 5 Ps. Then establishing responsible digital financial practices. Land tenure is not our job, but we can support the government on how to do that. An innovative gender-focused projects program on food and nutrition security, which is easily acceptable at a women enterprise level, rather than providing them rocket sciences. So I thank you all for your kind and presence hearing. Thank you.
A big round of applause for Dr. Das. Thank you, sir, for your insightful presentation and address. Your thoughts have truly enriched this discussion. I now invite our next distinguished speaker, Ms. Kalpana Ajayan, to share her views. Over to you, madam.
In the interest of time, I would request that if each speaker can limit to around 12 to 15 minutes, that would be right.
Sorry. Yeah. Morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and among the distinguished speakers here. Just a little bit about Women's World Banking. We are an organization which has been around for about 45 years, focused on women and financial inclusion. And really our vision is that one day all women will be able to build a secure and prosperous financial future for themselves and their households. And we've been doing this by working with financial service providers in over 35 countries. And we've reached about 185 million women through these efforts in the last 45 years. In India, it's been very satisfying that our work has predominantly been with public sector banks and with apex bodies such as NABARD, SIDBI, DFS, the way we go about it is that financial services, access to financial services and financial inclusion. The products that we typically cover when it comes to financial inclusion, while small savings has always been the kind of backbone for the products, increasingly taking advantage of the digital public infrastructure in this country, our focus has equally been on payments and microinsurance and credit. So really, when we talk about financial inclusion and the products that typically go into driving financial inclusion, we are talking about all of these products. I think this would be preaching to the choir, so I wouldn't spend too much time, but really the one point that I wanted to share here was, of course, that it's been 50 years as far as MFI sector, and I think everybody acknowledges that it was the setting up of SEVA by Ila Ben that really gave birth to the MFI movement in this country, and we count Ila Ben as one of the co-founders of Women's World Banking. And really, the sector has seen significant growth, but we also are aware about the challenges, and these continue to be there, very relevant even today. On the supply side, the rate of interest along with the operational and credit cost, they continue to be high. A lot of efforts have gone, and I'd like to share later on in the presentation some of the efforts that we have taken in partnership with apex organizations to see how we could actually work on the supply side. Equally on the demand side, and I think this has been a topic that has been making headlines in the last few months, the over-indebtedness of the women along with the low financial and digital literacy. Here I'd like to again share a little bit of the work that we have done with various organizations including SRLMs in Maharashtra, Bihar, etc., where we've worked on improving the digital, what we call as digital financial capability. And here I'd like to spend a second on why we call it capability and not literacy. Because digital and financial capability is much more than skills and knowledge. It actually works towards improving the attitude of the woman, understanding her context, understanding the barriers of the women, and actually ensuring that the attitude is also equally addressed along with the skills and knowledge. So we call it digital financial capability, and the work that we do on DFC cuts across multiple geographies, and I'd like to share what we have done with NPCI in this country in the coming slides. We've spoken enough, and Madam Saran has already shared about Mudra and what it has done. I just want to draw attention to just the last bullet point here, which is about a very pertinent point that is being made, which is that when Mudra started, the Shishu loans dominated, and 90% of the loans were less than 50,000. But what is very heartening to note is that in the last 10 years, the journey has been where the ticket size has been growing steadily. And we now have close to only 48% being in the Shishu. And you have a spread moving into the Kishore category, which is the 50 to 2.5 lakh category, with Tarun still being very less. And of course, we now have the Tarun Plus as well, but it's all in decimal points. The point that I want to talk about in Kishore loan, and this is very relevant to the topic at hand, which is about affordable credit for women entrepreneurs, is that while the percentage of Kishore loan accounts is about 62%, what is to be noted is that only 45% of the loan amounts pertain to women accounts. So clearly, the ticket sizes that are being sanctioned to the women, even in this category, there seems to be some sort of a risk aversion. The work that we are doing currently with CGT MSc actually points to this data. We're looking at the portfolio where credit guarantees, as you can imagine, play a very critical role in enhancing the risk appetite of these lending institutions. You've got to actually go behind the numbers and not just be taken by the broad 62%. So when we actually peel the onion, it actually shows very, very distinct patterns, geographies, categories, and as Madam mentioned even earlier, we have the habit of actually grouping all these entrepreneurs into one agglutinous mass. It isn't. It's actually very, very diverse. And so the ability to actually see the diverse segments within these entrepreneurs and therefore to design products and, which are appropriate for the segments then becomes very crucial. This, of course, is something that we know, and there are close to 22 million women-owned MSMEs, and this is projected to grow to 30 million very soon. So, phenomenal business opportunity as far as the country is concerned. And the point here I would like to mention is that while we talk about the MSMEs and the SHG, women businesses is something that I would add here. As entrepreneurs. They're at very different levels of maturity. So when we are talking about inputs that need to be provided, be it credit or non-financial services, and here, we've already have reference to the, non-financial services like the digital financial capability, bookkeeping, etc., all of these are very vital, because are we setting up the women to succeed? By putting credit into the hand but not providing the capability, that's actually setting her up to fail, isn't it? I am making a strong statement. So how do we ensure that we actually set her up to succeed is something that we've also worked in, and we're working. Some of the pilots are still in play. We know that women MSMEs, as Madam mentioned earlier as well, which is 1.47% NPA. In Women's World Banking, we also have a asset management company where we lend to women-led and women-focused institutions around the world. We have about 200 million that we've deployed around the world. And when we look at our asset management portfolio, this is what we saw in the companies that we have invested in. And it's a very interesting, observation, because while we found that the average portfolio at risk, was underperforming when it came to women in the early years, and it was very much in our interest as investors to ensure and understand what was the reason for the underperformance, so that we could actually take the necessary action. And it actually boiled down to just a couple of things. It actually was due to poorer outreach when it came to actual customer care. So the women actually did not know. They had every intention to pay. So the intention was never in question. But it was, as Madam mentioned earlier as well, the processes make it so difficult for her to understand. Even in India, with the last mile delivery focus on BC Sakhi, it still takes our experience with close to about 30 odd million women that we, Jandan accounts that we worked with 3 large public sector banks. It takes at least 25 minutes for these women to actually access a BC point. And these women are extremely time-starved. So therefore, what really is, how do we ensure that the information reaches where she is, rather than expecting her to reach out to understand the methods of repayment, etc. So, poorer outreach when it came to customer care, and also poorer outreach when it came to credit assessment. I think this is something that we see across the globe. Right? We know that they are thin file, they don't have a footprint, credit footprint, digital footprint, even more scarce. So with all of these, the credit assessment then becomes a big question mark. All of this leading to, a slightly underperformance in the first few years. The minute we identified this and we started working with the women, it just took 3 months for the underperformance to actually become, actually overperformance. And as you can see, the women were hugely overperforming compared to the male-owned MSMEs in a matter of a few months. Of course, we know women are loyal customers, and we know that they're very relationship driven. Our experience with various fintechs in this country and NBFCs in this country, we worked with several of them, actually show that once they build a relationship, they don't go shopping around. They're not figuring out who's the best rate of interest, and they have to trust the partner. So how to earn the trust of these women entrepreneurs then becomes very, very crucial. Once you earn her trust, then the upselling of the products, etc., then becomes very, very easier. This is a very important point that we work when we share when we work with the financial service providers, because it makes absolute business sense to lend to women. And while the institutions profess that they are very committed, when you actually look at the portfolio, be it a large NBFC or a fintech, it's never beyond 8 to 10%. We're talking about a 1,500 crore portfolio company that we worked with, 8% women. Yeah, but we want to work with women, and so how to keep bringing out the business case of investing in women is something that we at Women's World Banking take very seriously, and we do that through research and through data. These are very important points, and so we work very closely with these institutions to actually prove the business case to them. And of course, the customer lifetime value, because they believe and they become advocates of those institutions, actually show up to be 30% higher for women compared to men. So, really how to drive the systemic changes. So it's got to be a combination of all. What Madam shared at the beginning, it so resonated with the work that we do, which is it's not just about the products. The Jan Dhan Plus is the product that we design with the public sector banks, but equally, along with the advisory, it's also the advocacy that is very crucial. So we were part of the BC committee where we recommended 30% women agents, and that recommendation was actually adopted by the BC Committee of the Public Sector Banks in this country. We work very closely with the BC Sakis in multiple states, and a lot of times when we work with the financial institutions, and they say, oh yeah, we want to lend to women, we want to sell more financial products to women, but where are the women? This is a question that is often asked to us, and and we keep working with these BC Sakis, and we keep saying, here are the women. These are the women that actually have a huge appetite. Their livelihood, SRLMs have done a phenomenal job in terms of putting the infrastructure in place, of providing, governance and, the structure in place. But where are the, can we ensure that there are more employable livelihood opportunities for these women? BC Sakis are phenomenal when it comes to actually selling insurance. That's been our experience when it came to micro insurance, the JJBY, SBY. Contrary to something that was put up earlier, our work actually showed that women actually are very, very risk aware. They're not risk averse, they're risk aware. And so when we actually explain, and that's the key, how do you explain insurance, which is a very technical product? Understanding the context of the women and understanding her barrier. When explained, women are the first to actually sign up for these insurance products. Do we have appropriate products? So when we are talking about, the 2047 insurance for all vision set by the insurance regulator, one of the challenges that we've come across while working with various insurance companies, and we are going live in a couple of projects in the state of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh, is are the products that are out there appropriate? Are these relevant for these, for our customers is something that we work with. And of course, so along with the channel, this is something that I want to spend a couple of minutes on in the subsequent slide, but we've done some very interesting work with SIDBI on the Prayas program, where we've looked at leveraging. So how do we leverage existing systems rather than building separately? And that's how you can actually create scale, because if you're going to be building parallel systems, it takes years for it to be tested and evolved. And so our work when it came to the cluster level federations of the NRLM has led to some very, very interesting project which is actually getting into a scale-up mode right now as we speak in the states of Maharashtra and Bihar. And of course, just want to touch on the work that we've done with some of the, when it comes to lending to enterprises by NBFCs and by fintechs, the bias, the algorithmic bias that actually are very much part. If 92% of your portfolio is men, how do you expect the lending to be bias-free? Because the machine learning is taking the data of men, not of the women. So, how do you draw attention to those inherent biases when it comes to machine learning and artificial intelligence? Technology is crucial, don't get me wrong. It's absolutely the key when it comes to scalable solutions. But with technology, we need to be aware of these kind of issues, which are, the bias. So we've done work in multiple geographies in unearthing these biases. And of course, it's very, very difficult to change algorithms of lending institutions. So, we've actually come up with some very interesting solutions in the reject inference, where you, instead of looking at changing your algorithms when it comes to lending, can you go and look at the rejected applications? Because that's cost already sunk. You've sourced 100 applications and you've rejected 95 of them. That's actually sunk cost, right? So how do you actually go back to those rejected applications and actually see what led to that rejection and could we actually retrieve more? So it should also make business sense at the end of it to the financial institutions as well. So we've done some very interesting work with Lending Cart, with Dwara, with Annapurna, etc., some of these financial institutions as well. And of course, I did mention the work that we are doing with Credit Guarantee, to unlock more, So really the solutions delivery approach, this is what I was alluding to when I was speaking to the CLF, the work that we were doing with the CLF. So when you are looking at new to formal credit MSMEs, this is the biggest challenge for the lending institutions, right? How do you ensure that, the last mile infrastructure is in place? It is expensive. They seem to want borrower facilitation, so the hand-holding that is required for the first-time borrower, along with, where are the women? So the scattered demand. So how do you ensure that really there is a market which is scalable? And of course, the risk appetite and the technical support that is required to actually roll these solutions out at scale. And so this is the work that we did with the cluster level federations, as I mentioned, with 3 institutions, Mavim and Umaid in Maharashtra, SRLM, and Jivika in Bihar. And what we did was looked at the CLF which had a fantastic, when we looked at the entire structure, there seemed to be a really good governance which was scalable at that CLF level. So how do we actually, SIDBI could leverage that structure to actually identify the women? So it starts with the capacity building of the CLF to ensure that you're able to actually figure out who are risk worthy. So that meant actually capacity building of the CLF. And how do you actually go about sourcing? 2, completely a digital process. In 3 days, there's a loan that's actually issued. Our pilot went live last year and we've issued about 600 odd loans, and the average ticket size is about 1.2 lakhs. And the women are delighted because what used to take them 6 months with the various institutions for them to get the loan, they were getting it in 3 days. This of course meant that a lot of the work had to be done prior, which meant that the applications that actually the CFs received, was in good condition, was in a condition that was lendable, right? So, so therefore also building on the credit assessment of the, of the CLFs then became very crucial. Right now we are in the stage where we are actually doing the dispersal, but our work also envisages using the very same CLF to also do the collection and the loan servicing as well. It's been a very exciting project for us because we feel this is a big idea in terms of the SHG women have always been receiving loans, but of smaller ticket size, 20 to 25K. Group lending has been a huge success. Private sector lending has played a very significant role in enlarging the scope of JLG in this country, the joint liability group lending that happens in this country. But while they are very comfortable lending to groups in low ticket size, how to make them how to make them see the opportunity in lending to these individual entrepreneurs. Not all of them want to be individual entrepreneurs. the some of them that do want to be the individual entrepreneurs, how to lend them size which is the right size, and more importantly the right kind of product. They don't want term loans, they want working capital loans. So how do you ensure that you structure the products and of course processes? So the beauty about this product is also the process that has been that's a part of the offering, which actually leads to fewer barriers for the women to actually access the credit. And so these are some of the, I spoke already about the Prayas product. These are some of the other products that we've designed with Annapurna and Indify, etc., which are very interesting, like designed for the product, designed for the women, by the women is what we call it. And as I said, setting her up to succeed. So bookkeeping then becomes very crucial. We've done some very interesting work with Umaid, with Mera Bills, our partner. And it is a habit. It needs to be a habit, and it needs to be worked on. I've been signaled to go fast. I just want to spend 1 minute on the project. This is a very interesting project for us. We worked with NPCI, and they gave us a project which said that 200 million women have smartphone and access internet through the smartphone, but weren't participating in the digital payment space. And we were asked to look at that and come up with solutions. And the solutions that we came up with, one for the individual and one for the merchant. And it was very interesting because when we worked with the biggest names in, be it a PhonePe, Spice Money, or MobiKwik, oh yeah, we are very well penetrated in the tier 2, tier 3 was what we were told as far as merchant solutions we're offering. But then the women merchants that we know are not high street merchants. They are operating from home, and this data came through with multiple presentations. So how to ensure the discoverability of these women merchants and how to reach her. And here a phygital model is very, very crucial. Hand-holding, ensuring that there is transparency, absolutely crucial. So digital, very, very crucial, but how to ensure that we work with the women influencers at the ground level. Here, the SHG women play a very crucial role. They are the influencers, they are trustworthy, and if we give them employment opportunities to become ambassadors for these brands, the women merchants seem to want to participate, and they, of course, once they're comfortable, start using it very, very regularly. This is just one slide in terms of what the opportunity sizing is. In terms of compared to global developed markets, we are still some way to go. And here, clearly, 1.7 trillion is the IFC gap for women entrepreneurs, and in India, it's about 20 billion. So how do we ensure that we have these financial institutions lend to these? And so how can we, all of us in this room, how do we partner? We have an outsized business opportunity. We have the government mandate. We have a fantastic digital public infrastructure, and we have enabling institutions such as, MORD, the SIDBI, NABARD, all of these, ONDC, so many enabling institutions. How can we therefore, partner for scale to ensure that the credit is cheaper, we are able to discover more and more of these eligible borrowers, and we do it in a seamless way. And I think this is the task that is cut out to us. And thank you for the opportunity to share the work that we do.
A big round of applause for our distinguished speaker for sharing her valuable knowledge with us. Let's move forward by welcoming our next eminent speaker, Dr. Swarupa, to deliver her address. Over to you, madam.
Namaskar, respected key speaker, honorable DMD, esteemed panelists, eminent participants, and NABARD officials, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon to all of you, and greetings from National Institute for Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises, Bharat Sarkar ke Sukshma, Laghu, Madhyam, Udyam Mantralay, Hyderabad. My compliments to NABARD for organizing this mega event, bringing, I think, all the practitioners, professionals for the acceleration of women entrepreneurs. I just want to give a brief which one? This one? This one? Yeah, I'll begin with a glimpse of my institute, ministry. Then quickly, I would like to ponder upon the initiatives being taken up by our ministry in collaboration with the various central ministries and states across India. Yeah. MSME sector, so as you are all aware, we are contributing 29% to the GDP and the manufacturing output, exports, employment generation, the figures are here. Actually, the statistics says 6.3 crore MSMEs we are having in India, but from the Udyam Assist portal and Udyam registration portal, the numbers are higher than that. So we have more in the informal sector and unorganized sector. That includes women entrepreneurs also. So as on yesterday, so 5.8 crore in the Udyam registration and in the Udyam Assist together, and employment generated is 24 crore again. Otherwise, the statistics says it is only 11 crore employment generated, but it is much higher, and I'm very happy to share we have over 6,000 products. So services I am not mentioning here. So this is a quick data. I think most of you are aware. So what is micro, small and medium? The categorization is freshly defined during 2020, that is COVID time. So based on the investment and also based on the turnover. So it is redefined. Yeah, this is the organization structure of Ministry of MSME, because people get confused with the KVIC, NSIC and most of the institutions. So I'm just projecting this. So we do have Development Commissioner, that is a parallel wing across the country. In every state we have a state office, that is the Development and Facilitation Office. We have KVIC to take care of the rural industries, and NSIC is for marketing. Our institution is policy advocacy, capacity building and research, and we have Mahatma Gandhi Rural Industrialization, which is a research organization for rural technologies, and we have COIR board exclusively to promote COIR industries, where majority of the stakeholders are women. Yeah, there are several challenges for MSMEs. So the first one is formalization and inclusion. Most of the earlier speakers they have already mentioned, and access to credit, access to finance, market, technology and digitalization. So all these, and of course infrastructure is also a very big constraint, and skilling. So we are talking a lot of reskilling, upskilling and Skill India initiatives. So for all this, our ministry is having a lot of schemes, projects and programs and initiatives to address. And we are very much instrumental in this mission. Yeah, National Institution for MSME, we are almost a 65-year-old institution. We are serving the country for the growth and development of MSME sector in India and across the borders also among several nations. We do a lot of policy advocacy, research, consultancy, more importantly capacity building and skill building also. This I think you can go through the Google or our website, the Kakinada experiment. The birth of entrepreneurship took place in India for the first time in our campus. That is popularly known as Kakinada experiment. So you can Google for this. So one of the very eminent social scientists, psychologists, he came to India and he has conducted this experiment. First 100 days EDP in our campus way back in 1964. Yeah, these are the vision and mission of the institute, and these are our services. So we do a lot of executive management, train the trainers, master trainer program off campus, on campus, and from COVID onwards we are very much online and hybrid mode. Yeah, for this, Government of India Capacity Building Commission has recognized, and we have been accredited as Utkrisht, that is a 3-star rating, very good, to train the cadre officers across the nation. So that we have been doing since long time, and we have been accredited very recently. This is very rare recognition. I think in the country only 11 institutions are having this recognition at present. So we have schools of excellence. Through this we are rendering the services: School of Enterprise Development, Enterprise Management, Entrepreneurship and Extension, Entrepreneurship Information Communication. And we have centers of excellence. One of the recent one is FinRise, that is Center of Financial Inclusion, to cater to the needs of MSMEs, especially to promote CGTMSE scheme, to create the awareness among all the stakeholders, and to apprise it with the bankers. All the financial institutions supported by SIDBI and CGTMSE, we have established this. And digital branding, I thank NABARD for establishing this center. This is the very recent one. I share the details later. Yeah, these are our achievements. So national programs, we have done 17,000 over 64 years. We have trained over close to 6 lakh officers. Out of this, 20 to 30% are only women officers. In skill arena, we have organized over 6,000 programs and trained close to 2 lakh women and unemployed youth. In this, we have almost 40% women, and we completed over 950 projects for Government of India. And yeah, we have trained 11,000 executives representing 145 nations. हम सोचते रहते हैं कि इंडिया बहुत पीछे रह गए, ओके, बहुत कुछ सीखना है, बैकवर्ड है, स्पेशली हमारा यूथ सोचते हैं बाहर जाना है, इंडिया में कुछ भी नहीं है, तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, तो बहुत गर्व की कारण है. So since 1967, executives are coming from these nations to our own campus, supported by Ministry of External Affairs under a lot of cooperation schemes, and they are trained on women entrepreneurship, micro enterprise development, IPR, tourism, various aspects, environment aspects, and many things. They are trained, and they are learning the best practices and standards we have already made in India. They are learning, going, and they are implementing. Few I have mentioned here. So please spread this information so that the youth will remain in our country and serve the country. We have a lot of collaborations with premier institutions in India and a lot of international organizations also. I would like to mention here International Labour Organization. We are the only second institution in the world to certify the women entrepreneurs across the globe. This is again a very rare recognition we have achieved over the years. Yeah. So today's topic is rural women entrepreneurs. So in the Udyam Assist portal, we have women owned 70.49% out of 6.3 crore as per the statistics. And in the women registration portal, we have 20.5. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you, during COVID 2020 year, the percentage was 13.4. Despite COVID difficulties and setbacks, the number has risen from 13 to 20. So 20.5% it is increased. So it is the concerted efforts from Government of India, many international private players, practitioners, many people. So that has been increased, and towards employment generation, women have contributed 18.73, and total investments made by women entrepreneurs is 11.15%, and the contribution for women owned turnover is 10.22. So we should all feel great and proud, whoever is involved in this mission. And of course, we cannot be, we cannot sit and relax. So there is a long way to go, and we have all the responsibility to take it forward. Even the contributions under informal sector are much higher. So that has to be documented, recorded, and it has to be spread across. Yeah, from our ministry, so we have very, very encouraging initiatives, that is Udyam registration. During COVID 2020 it is initiated, and we have very good scheme, that is zero effect is zero defect. So 100% subsidy on the cost to implement this certification practices, the mentoring and hand holding. So mentors are required for this. Earlier speakers were telling, to pay them that consultancy, 100% it is being provided. And we have credit guarantee scheme, and we have this public procurement policy under this. So 3% of the women-owned products and goods should, services should be taken by all the Government of India organizations, CPSUs, departments, and all of them. So there also, from our ministry records, it says almost 2.3% we could achieve. And we under PMEGP, this I think you are all aware, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. This is one of the very, very successful and popular scheme. So this is the 5th plan year. Of course, we are not going by the plans, but 5th plan year. Over 20 years, 10 lakh units have been established across the country. And out of this, women-owned is 39%. So almost we'll be reaching 50% because the population is 50. All right, so very, very encouraging. But the bottom one, Ministry of Electronics, Science and Technology, and AICTE, several ministries, they have come out with innovative schemes, because we are in the era of innovations and startups and many other things. So our ministry also has come out with this innovative scheme. The 3.1 was dedicated to women last year. But you see the numbers, we received only 18,000 plus ideas across the country. 50% are women, close to 50% population is women, but only 19,000 applications we received. From our institution, we are also one of the host institute. All our ministry institutions are host, plus IITs, IIMs, and premier institutions. So millet analog rice. One young lady, she's doing this, and I think shortly she'll be coming out with that product into the market. As you are all aware, 2023 was the International Year of Millets. A lot of thrust for consumption, for cultivation, processing, and packaging, and promotion of this millet products. And that product was awarded the grant. And other one is fire safety in heights. Even the residential complexes and educational institutions across, even urban areas, are coming out with high-rise structures. The safety arrangements, the instrument. So one lady is being awarded. So these are some encouraging things. I think we should spread across the information. Yeah, this scheme is exclusively for women. And name itself, scheme itself is named under Mahila Kaya Yojana. I think most of the NABARD officials are from agriculture background. We have Coconut Development Board under Ministry of Agriculture, but Kaya Board is with the Ministry of MSME. The potential is so high. So every part of that Kaya, the pith, the fiber, everything has a lot of export potential. That's how this Yojana is only for the women. A lot of skilling and technology upgradation, all these inputs are permitted under this, of course. Financial assistance is extended under PMEGP. This is, I think, more relevant for the coastal districts where coconut cultivation and processing is going on. This is another very important initiative from our ministry, that is Samarth, for skill and market. So as we are all aware, so the skilling needs are still unmet, and the market has to be tapped to large extent. So the training programs are happening across the country. So 7,500 women candidates from rural and urban areas have been built the capacity, and 20% seats are reserved exclusively for women. So in participation in this business meets and business development activities, in the international exhibitions, we have international cooperation scheme, and 20% discount is also given from NSIC. All right, so I have been sharing that my institution completed diamond years of services to the country. So after completing 60, what next? So we have taken a call, a mission. So that is doubling of women entrepreneurs. So as I told earlier, it was 13.4%, and women participation was 18.6% after 6.3 crore million MSMEs. Now it has reached 20%. But as an institution, we have taken this call, And we could succeed to some extent with the cooperation from government and many other stakeholders, including NABARD. This is one of the successful scheme from our ministry, Spurti. So we are the nodal agency. We help them in hard interventions and soft interventions. And I would like to highlight the success from Maharashtra, a place, a village called Sood near Pune. So for cotton garment, ready-made garments that is being established. All are women here, 1,055 beneficiaries are women. Government of India grant is 4.3 crore, and they have contributed 39 lakhs, and skill enhancement. All these things are being extended. So knowledge improvement and modern technology is being given. A lot of machinery and business tie-ups. Export license is being awarded to them, and a VIP brand exclusively they are making boxer, and they are exporting through this cluster. So any of you are in Pune, or if you happen to be in Pune, please visit this, encourage them. Like this, across the country, we have a lot of clusters implemented through our institution alone. Likewise, KVIC and NSIC, they are implementing this Spurti. This is very, and we have created a lot of social impact and empowerment for women. Yeah, these are some of the clusters across the country. So starting from north to south and east to west, length and breadth. So toys, brass, all artisan-based, handloom, agro, food, rural enterprises, we have these clusters. In fact, I am very happy to share that the saree I am wearing is from Telangana. It is called Gadwal. It is hand woven, pure silk. So we have like this varied products. Yeah. In the skill arena also, we have exclusive scheme, assistance to training institution and entrepreneurship and skill development, plus National SC/ST Hub scheme, exclusively for SC and ST community. So as you are all aware, MSME cut across all the sections of the population and all the sectors in India. So above the soil, across the soil, under the soil. So we are all implementing these programs, and these skill programs we are doing with the help of other ministries, National Bee and Honey Mission from Agriculture, Ministry of Textiles, Ministry of Fisheries, and PMKVY, that is the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Ministry of Youth Affairs. We are part of all these ministries in continuing the mission and call from PMO. This is PM Vishwakarma. So this is the latest scheme. Last year it was launched. And 18 skills are there. Of course, these pictures don't depict much about women, but there is a lot of scope for women to get involved in this, unless they are very heavy duty one, but all occupation based, family based, and we are encouraging to enroll more and more women, get certified, recognized, and take it as a very nano or micro enterprise activity. This is yet another good scheme from our ministry, and this is one of the very pet scheme of PM also. Of course, many speakers spoke about Mudra Yojana. Of course, this is very popular because most of the manufacturing trades and service activities are close to women, rather easy to women, without any inhibition, without any bottlenecks, they can take it forward. That's how it is going on very well. Yeah, so this is another very important initiative from NITI, that is Women Entrepreneurship Platform. So a lot of emphasis and thrust is given for women to become mainstream entrepreneur, or rather businesswoman or industrialist. And why I am sharing this, the first chapter is being launched in Telangana, and we are the knowledge partner with the government of Telangana, Ministry, government, Department of Industries and Commissionerate. So NITI was working since 4 years in at a national level, but the first chapter in Telangana, and we will be working very closely for the acceleration of women as business leaders. Yeah, we are the National Resource Organization for Ministry of Rural Development. So we have been encouraging women to start their village enterprises and to become business development service providers. And we are bringing out a lot of national resource persons and mentors from these communities by women. So these are our activities. We are very active in 15 states. Likewise, we are also serving Ministry of Housing and Urban Authority. Yeah, I'm very happy to see one of the panel from Ladakh. So we are doing women entrepreneurship in Ladakh, and in Tripura exclusively canteen services. They want to promote the tourism, and in Odisha we are promoting the producer groups under Mission Shakti. And I'm hopeful we will expand to more states under this NULM. These are some of the glimpses. And this is another very recent initiative from Ministry of Social Justice by our institution. There is a special category called denotified tribes. So scheme for economic empowerment for this denotified tribes. So we have started in Andhra Pradesh 300 SHG groups. They are very particular that all should be women and they have to be recognized. Most of them doesn't have their community certificate. They don't have even Aadhaar card. We have to get that and bank linkages and promote them as micro entrepreneurs. So we are very much in this activity in full force, and we are sure that more women entrepreneurs will be added to the mission from this community also. So these are some of the field experiences, and as I told, like doubling of women entrepreneurs. So it cannot happen overnight, even 2 years, 5 years. So we doesn't have any timeline, but we have been working. I'm very happy to share that last year alone we have trained 3,000 more women across the country. During COVID, bits and pieces, so we were doing in Kashmir, Northeast, somewhere here and there, onboarding them to Amazon and with good packaging and imparting them green practices, somewhere geographical indication through our IP cell, like that we have been hand-holding them. But now in full-fledged mode in the state of Andhra Pradesh, we will be training 12,000 women in event management because they want to promote tourism, food, many things. So hospitality also, we will be training them across Andhra Pradesh, 12,000 alone. I think the dream of doubling the women entrepreneurs will be fulfilled soon. Yeah, yes, yeah, this is the last one. Last but not the least, so collaboration with the NABARD. As a national institution, we are catering to all the states and union territories. So NABARD has supported in branding and marketing. So we were talking about the marketing issues. So branding plays very, very crucial role. So we have a module that we have imparted, and one group, one FPO from Andhra Pradesh. So they could increase their turnover in one particular season to 40 lakhs. That case we have presented, that is being released. It is available in our website. You can go through that. That's how NABARD has come forward and established now a Center of Excellence for Digital Branding and Marketing in our campus. So we are doing this activity for all the FPOs across the country. I think soon your FPOs, off-farm, on-farm, non-farm, everything will be very, very vibrant, and I think we will be achieving this mission. And yeah, I thank NABARD for giving me this opportunity. You can reach us for any entrepreneurial needs and collaborations to take this mission forward. We are present in all social media. You can reach us through email, and when you are in Hyderabad, you can visit us physically. So my best wishes to all the NABARD and success to all the entrepreneurs. Thank you very much.
A hearty round of applause for Dr. Swarupa. आपके विचारों और प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए हम आपका धन्यवाद करते हैं. अब मैं हमारी अगली माननीय स्पीकर मिस सुवर्णा काले को आमंत्रित करती हूं कि वे अपनी स्पीच दें.
गुड आफ्टरनून. मैं एक सुयोग एग्री बिजनेस कॉरपोरेशन की एक एंटरप्रेनर भी हूँ, और हम नाबार्ड के सपोर्ट से 2015 से एक हमने सावित्रीबाई फुले एपीओ का गठन किया है, जिसके थ्रू हम महिलाओं के साथ काम कर रहे हैं. अभी हम नाबार्ड के थ्रू नासिक डिस्ट्रिक्ट और अहमदनगर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में काम कर रहे हैं एपीओ के थ्रू. तो हमने हमारी एपीओ जो है वो इंडिया की पहली एपीओ है जो लाइव गोट मार्केटिंग प्लस लाइव मिल्क गोट मिल्क जो है उसके बाय प्रोडक्ट बना के उसका पैकेजिंग मार्केटिंग वो सब हमने डेवलप किया है. तो उसमें हमें नाबार्ड का बहुत बड़ा सहयोग पहले से ही रहा है। हमने 2010 से सुयोग एग्री बिजनेस कॉरपोरेशन का गठन किया। उसके बाद हम फार्मर के साथ जुड़ गए, उनके साथ काम कर रहे थे। तभी मैंने एक चीज़ नोटिस की थी कि हमारा जो ग्रामीण डेवलप जो है वो ऑर्गेनिक पे ज़्यादा, मतलब ऑर्गेनिक पर लोग काम करते हैं। तो ऑर्गेनिक में बहुत ऐसे बिजनेस है जिनमें हम काम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बिजनेस कर सकते हैं। और हमारी जो ग्रामीण महिलाएं जो है उनको बहुत एग्रीकल्चर बिजनेस है जो घर बैठ के कर सकती है, पर वो आगे नहीं आती क्योंकि हमारी जो ग्रामीण विचारधारा है और उन महिलाओं को जो पाबंदियां लगाई गई है समाज ने, वो उस सब चीज़ों से वो आगे आकर अपना बिजनेस नहीं करना नहीं चाहती, क्योंकि वो बाहर निकलती है तो उसको उसके चरित्र पर या बहुत सारे बातें होने भी लग जाती है। कोई महिला आगे आती तो इसी वजह से वो घर से बाहर ही नहीं निकलना चाहती। तो ये सब चीज़ें हम जब हमने सावित्रीबाई फुले प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी का गठन किया था तो वो सब चीज़ें थी कि जब महिला के साथ बिजनेस करना है तो क्या कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि महिला घर से बाहर आना नहीं चाहती। उसके बाकी बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स थे, क्योंकि महिला सोचती थी हम आगे आएंगे तो सब लैंग्वेज है, बाकी सब चीज़ों का उसको सामना करना पड़ता है, तो वो सब वो कर नहीं पाएगी। उसका कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ाना भी ज़रूरत था। तो हमने ऐसा बिजनेस ढूंढा कि जो महिला मतलब बाहर आने की उसको ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, वो घर पे रह के वो बिज़नेस कर सकती है। तो हमने जो गोट है जो हर मतलब ग्रामीण महिलाओं के पास रहती है, एक दो रहती है, तो वो उसमें उसका कोई मतलब बिजनेस व्यू नहीं वो देख नहीं रही थी, तो उसको हमने पहले ट्रेनिंग प्रोवाइड किया। तो ट्रेनिंग के माध्यम से हमने जो गोट है, लाइव गोट है, उसको मार्केट मतलब उसको मुनाफा कैसे बढ़ा सकते हैं उस पर उसको ग्रामीण उसके घर पे जाके हमने जीएलजी के माध्यम से वो सब चीज़ें की। उसके बाद हमें वो ये चीज़ें पता चली कि उनको बिज़नेस में लाना है तो उनको एक तो ट्रेनिंग की बहुत ज़रूरत है, उसके बाद उनको कुछ फैसिलिटी देनी पड़ेगी, जिनकी फैसिलिटी के बाद वो अपना बिज़नेस डेवलप कर सकती है। तो हमने महिलाओं का जीएलजी बना के हमने उस फैसिलिटी देने के लिए एक पशु सखी मॉडल डेवलप किया, एक विलेज में एक पशु सखी मॉडल डेवलप किया, ताकि उसको वो सब चीज़ें हम देना चाहते तो वो उसके थ्रू उसको मिले, और वो महिला भी उसी गांव की हो जहाँ वो महिला काम कर रही है, तो उसको मतलब ज़्यादा आसानी हो जाएगी महिलाओं के साथ काम करने में। तो हमने उस टाइम पे सिर्फ लाइव गोट मार्केट के बारे में सोचा था। जब हमने महिलाओं को ट्रेनिंग दिया कि पशु गोट कैसी पालनी है, उसका चारा व्यवस्थापन, खुराक वगैरह सब चीज़ें कैसे देनी, वो सब सिखाना शुरू किया, तब हमें पता चला कि ग्रामीण महिलाओं को सबसे दिक्कत आती है कि जब बीमारी आती है गोट पे तो वो सब ज़्यादा मॉर्बिलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, तो उसको डॉक्टर की फैसिलिटी नहीं मिल रही है। तो हमने पशु सखी को ट्रेनिंग दिया, उसके बाद उसको वेटनरी सर्विसेज जो हमारे प्राइमरी वेटनरी होती है वो उसको सिखाई, ताकि उसको अच्छे से वेटनरी सर्विसेज मिल पाए, और उसके माध्यम से हमने उनका मुनाफा बढ़ाने की कोशिश की। आगे जाके उनको मतलब उनका लाइव गोट का वेट बेस्ड मार्केट हमने शुरू किया। उसके बावजूद हमने उसका गोट जो मिल्क था उसका बाय प्रोडक्ट मतलब बनाना, क्योंकि हम एक प्रोडक्ट मतलब एक गोट पे ही सिर्फ काम करेंगे तो उसका ज़्यादा मुनाफा उसको मिलता नहीं, तो हम उसका गोट का वेट बेस्ड मार्केट उसके बच्चे बेचने लगे। उसके जो मिल्क है तो वो इकट्ठा करके उसको प्रोसेस किया, उसका पाश्चराइज करके मिल्क मार्केट में हमने पैकेजिंग लाया। उसके बाद हमने 2019 से हमने चीज़ मार्केट डेवलप किया, उसमें हमने अलग अलग टाइप के चीज़ बनाए हैं। तो एक 6-7 प्रकार के हम चीज़ बनाते हैं गोट चीज़, वो भी पैकेजिंग मार्केटिंग करके वो महिला घर पे रह के 10, 20, 50 गोट है उनके पास, वो उधर मिल्क निकालती है, उसका बच्चे कंपनी को बेचती है। हमने सावित्रीबाई फुले ऑर्गेनाइजेशन खड़ा किया है नाबार्ड के सपोर्ट से, वहाँ पे उसको मार्केट अवेलेबल करवा दिया। वो घर पे सब चीज़ें करती है, मार्केट कंपनी उसको देती है। तो हमने उसके थ्रू ही चीज़ का मार्केट किया कंपनी के। उसका ऑर्गेनिक मेन्यूअर है उसका वर्मी कंपोस्ट बनाया, उसका मार्केटिंग किया। तो उसको वैल्यू चेंज हमने डेवलप किया ताकि वो महिलाओं को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा उसका प्रॉफिट मिल सके। एक प्रोडक्ट मतलब एक राइस पिका रहा है या कोई और चीज़ कर रहा है तो उसको एक सिर्फ वो पैकेजिंग मतलब एक ही प्रोडक्ट पे करेगा तो उसको ज़्यादा मुनाफा नहीं मिलता है। तो उसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कैसे वैल्यू चेंज करना पड़ेगा मतलब हो सकता है, उसके बारे में जितना ज़्यादा हो सके, क्योंकि एक प्रोडक्ट पे डिपेंड रहता है तो उसको ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट नहीं मिलता है। तो वही हमने उन महिलाओं के साथ किया। अभी हम गोट मिल्क में काम कर रहे हैं, अलग अलग हम B2B और B2C में कर रहे हैं। हमारे पास बहुत सारे आसपास भी एपीओज है जो फार्मर के साथ हम काम कर रहे हैं। पर हमने एक चीज़ देखी है कि इन महिलाओं को आगे जाना है या मार्केटिंग में उनको ट्रेन करना है, तो हमें उनको पहले एक ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ेगा, ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ता है, पैकेजिंग बाकी सब चीज़ें कैसी करेंगे। उसके बाद आज क्या है कि हर किसी के पास मोबाइल है, डिजिटल हम हो गए हैं, पर उन महिलाओं के पास उनका जो बिजनेस है वो डिजिटलाइज कैसे करे वो उनको नहीं समझ में आता है। वेब पेज कैसे कनेक्ट करे, बिग बाज़ार पे कैसे जाए, अमेज़ॉन पे वो ऐड कैसे दे, वो सब चीज़ें उनको नहीं पता है। तो मैं चाहती हूँ, अभी इतने सारे सब लोग हैं यहाँ पे, तो जो दिक्कतें आती है ना महिलाओं को, प्रोडक्शन बनाने में नहीं आती, मार्केटिंग और पैकेजिंग उसका ये करने में आती है। उसके बाद उसको डिजिटलाइज लोग बताते हैं कि आप यूट्यूब चैनल खोलो, फेसबुक पे जाओ, ये करो सब चीज़ें, पर उनको नहीं आता है, वो लैंग्वेज बाकी सब चीज़ों का इशू होता है। उसके बाद एपीओज है हमारे यहाँ पे, उन एपीओज को भी कुछ दिक्कतें बहुत सारी आती है। ग्रामीण एपीओज को क्या होता है, उनके पास एक तो जो बिजनेस प्लान वगैरह बनाते हैं उनको पास ज़्यादा भांडवल नहीं रहता है। तो जैसे कि ट्रांसपोर्ट में जब वो मार्केट में जाते हैं, तो जब B2B करते हैं तो उनको ज़्यादा दिक्कतें नहीं आती है, पर वो डायरेक्टली B2C करेंगे तो उनको बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कतें आती है। पर उनको नफ़ा बढ़ाना है तो B2C में ही उनका ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट मिल सकता है, पर उसमें दिक्कतें उनको ये आ रही है। हमें भी वही दिक्कतें आती है कि हम जब हमारा पैकेजिंग अच्छा है, सब चीज़ें हैं, पर हम B2B करते हैं तो जो प्रॉफिट है वो आगे वाला ज़्यादा लेता है और हमें कम मिलता है। और हम B2C करने जाएंगे तो हमारा क्वांटिटी हम ऑनलाइन मार्केट में भी जाते हैं, तो क्या होता है यहाँ से दिल्ली से ऑर्डर आया 2-4 kg चीज़ चाहिए, तो हम उधर से नहीं भेज सकते क्योंकि हमारा वैल्यू चेंज उतना मेंटेन नहीं है, बाकी कोल्ड स्टोरेज बाकी सब चीज़ों का वो प्रॉब्लम रहता है, तो वो सब चीज़ें हम नहीं कर पाते। और उसके वजह से हम ऑनलाइन मार्केट में जाते हैं तो उसका भी हमारे इस पे बैड इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है कि हमारा ये कम हो जाता है कि ट्रेसेबिलिटी की, लोग बोलते कि ऑर्डर देते हैं बट वो पहुंचा नहीं सकते। तो ये हर एपीओ का दिक्कत है आज। तो ये मुझे ये लगता है कि मैं ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लूँगी, तो शॉर्टकट में मैं बोलती हूँ कि मुझे ये लगता है कि हम जो अभी महिलाओं के साथ काम कर रहे थे, हमारे यहाँ ग्रामीण बहुत सारे एपीओज बनी है महिलाओं की, पर उनको बिजनेस जो बिजनेस कर रही हो महिला, उनको मार्केटिंग में बहुत सारी दिक्कतें आ रही है। एक तो ट्रांसपोर्ट का दिक्कत आता है, तो उसके बाद उसको लाइसेंस का बहुत दिक्कत आता है। जब हम महाराष्ट्र में मार्केटिंग कर रहे हैं तो ज़्यादा लाइसेंस नहीं लगते, पर बाहर जाके दूसरे देश में मार्केटिंग करना है तो बहुत सारे लाइसेंस है जो उन महिलाओं को पता नहीं है, और उनको निकलने में इतना टाइम लग जाता है, इतना खर्चा आता है कि वो कर ही नहीं पा रही है। तो ये सब के ऊपर हम एक फेडरेशन बनाएंगे एपीओ का, तो यही फेडरेशन के थ्रू सबका ट्रेनिंग दिया जाएगा। जो जिस चीज़ में जिसका एपीओ है या कोई वुमेन है जिसका बिजनेस है, तो वो उसका ट्रेनिंग उधर ले सकती है। उसका अलग अलग टाइप का पैकेजिंग कैसे कर सकते हैं, उसका मार्केटिंग के लिए वो फैसिलिटी क्या क्या है कि ताकि वो लोगों के तक पहुंच सके। और वो फेडरेशन वही काम करेगा, वहाँ पे वो टेक्निकल पर्सन रहेंगे जहाँ पे उसको वो सब चीज़ें सिखाई जाएगी। जैसे कि उसे ऑनलाइन मार्केटिंग में जाना है तो वो कोई बंदा ऐसा रहेगा जो वो फेडरेशन का फेडरेशन वो लोगों के लिए काम करेगी ताकि उसको ज़्यादा पैसे देने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, और वो सब चीज़ें वो फेडरेशन ही उसको करवा देंगी। और जैसे कि हम B2C मार्केटिंग का सोचते हैं, तो हमारे एक ही डिस्ट्रिक्ट में या बहुत सारी एपीओज है, तो वो सब इकट्ठा हो जाती है, तो उनका ट्रांसपोर्ट का खर्चा भी बहुत कम हो सकता है, और उसका राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मार्केट में हमारा प्रोडक्ट जा सकता है आसानी से फेडरेशन के थ्रू, ताकि हम वो लाइसेंसिंग प्रोसेस वो सब फेडरेशन ही करेगी, ताकि वो एपीओ को कुछ करने की ज़्यादा तकलीफ नहीं होगी, और वो आसानी से हमारा अंतर्राष्ट्रीय ये भी ओपन हो सकता है। क्योंकि हम कृषि प्रधान देश से बिलोंग करते हैं, और हमारा अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि महिला जो है वो व्यवसाय में आगे नहीं आएंगी, तो हम पुरुष और महिला समान हमारे देश के लिए कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। और हम जब महिलाएं आगे आएंगी तभी हम हमारे देश की अर्थव्यवस्था को सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं, और ये हमारा हमारी महिला भी हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था का बहुत बड़ा मेन रोल में है। और जब एक ही दिशा में महिला पीछे रह जाएंगी तो हमारा अर्थव्यवस्था पे उसका भी बहुत बुरा परिणाम पड़ता है। तो हमें उसको आगे भी लेके जाना है, पर उसके जो नीचे से उसको जो सपोर्ट चाहिए तो वो उसको डेवलप करके करके देना पड़ेगा। अभी बहुत सारा नाबार्ड जैसे संस्था है जिनके सपोर्ट से बहुत सारे एपीओ आगे आई है, हमारी जैसे महिला आज यहाँ अब तक आके पहुँची है, ये मतलब ये नाबार्ड का सपोर्ट की वजह से ही है। पर इसको और भी आगे लेके जाना है तो मुझे लगता है हर ज़िले में एक फेडरेशन होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, ताकि सब एपीओ एक साथ आएंगी, उनका ट्रांसपोर्ट बाकी सब चीज़ें मतलब कम हो जाएंगी और फेडरेशन का मतलब एपीओ का कोई ऐसा एक संस्था बन जाएंगी तो हर एपीओ को पता होगा कि कौन से एपीओ के पास क्या है, ताकि मार्केटिंग में भी एक दूसरे को बहुत सारा सपोर्ट मिल जाएगा। मतलब हम यहाँ पे है, हमारे ऐसे कुछ प्रोडक्ट है, मतलब मैं और ओनियन में काम करती हूँ तो कोई राइस में करता है, तो हमारे यहाँ ओनियन भी लगता है और राइस भी लोगों को लगता है, तो हम एक दूसरे का भी मार्केट कर सकते हैं और ये वो बड़ा मतलब बिजनेस डेवलप हो सकता है इससे। तो ये सारी चीज़ें हम बहुत ही आसानी से कर सकते हैं। यहाँ पे इतने सारे सब लोग हैं जो मेरी मतलब मैं बहुत शॉर्टकट में बताया है, बट वो समझ सकेंगे मैं क्या बता रही हूँ। तो मुझे लगता है कि हमें और भी आगे जाना है, तो हमें ऐसा एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डेवलप होता है तो जो हमें जहाँ पे हम कम पड़ रहे हैं तो कोई हमें उस सपोर्ट करके आगे मतलब ले जा सकता है। तो हमारी महिलाओं के लिए बहुत आगे, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट की इतनी सारी स्कीम है, अभी मैम ने बताई है ये सब है, पर ये उन महिलाओं को तक पहुँचने के लिए कोई चेन होनी चाहिए और ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वही काम करेगी, जो फेडरेशन है वही काम करेगा कि ये सब चीज़ें उन ग्रामीण महिलाओं तक पहुँचे, डायरेक्टली उन तक पहुँचेंगी और वो आगे जल्दी से जल्दी आ सकेगी। तो मैं इतना ही कहती हूँ, नाबार्ड ने यहाँ तक आने का और यह बात करने की जो मुझे अवसर दिया है, तो इसीलिए मैं नाबार्ड का बहुत ज़्यादा शुक्रगुजार हूँ। थैंक यू सो मच।
जोरदार तालियां मिस काले के लिए। आपके विचारों ने इस चर्चा को और समृद्ध किया है, इसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। Before we move to our next speaker, all the audience members are requested to scan the QR codes displayed to your left and right and also on the screen. By doing this, you can share with us your valuable feedback for this session and also for the whole Mahotsav event in general. By scanning the QR code, you can also take part in an interesting ग्रामीण भारत को जानो quiz. अब मैं हमारी अगली माननीय स्पीकर मिस अभिलाषा बहुगुणा से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि वे हमें अपने विचार प्रस्तुत करें।
Hello, I am speaking. So I will be unfair to you if I say that you restrict yourself to 10 minutes, but that is our compulsion. So I think you will not disappoint us.
सभा में उपस्थित और पैनल में उपस्थित सारे ही माननीय सभासद, आप सभी को मेरा प्रणाम, नमस्कार और सेम्याणी जूले। सबसे पहले मैं नाबार्ड को बहुत ज़्यादा धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगी। इतने प्यार और सम्मान से उन्होंने घर से लेके यहाँ तक हमें पहुँचाया है और लूम्स ऑफ लद्दाख की जर्नी में भी नाबार्ड और नाब फाउंडेशन का बहुत महत्वपूर्ण योगदान रहा है, क्योंकि इनिशियल डिस्ट्रिक्ट स्किल डेवलपमेंट ट्रेनिंग फ़ेज़ के बाद जब ये महिलाएं खुद से ही अपना व्यवसाय कर रही थीं और जब भी किसी फंडिंग के लिए रीच आउट करती थी कहीं पे भी, तो डोनर्स को बताया जाता था कि यहाँ लद्दाख में तो बहुत सारे ग्रुप्स हैं, बहुत सारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, आप ये तो कोऑपरेटिव ऑलरेडी बन गया है, इनको क्यों फंडिंग कर रहे हैं। लेकिन हम इनिशियल आइडिएशन और पायलट स्टेज में ही फंडिंग के बिना थे, तो उसके बाद जब 4 साल बाद हमें पहली फंडिंग मिली फॉर स्केलिंग अप और एक प्रॉपर बेसिकली पायलट टेस्ट करने के लिए, वो नाबार्ड और नैब फाउंडेशन में ही वो दिल और वो समझ था कि उन्होंने हमको वो पुश दिया, उसके लिए मन से आभारी हूँ। मुझे कुछ कीवर्ड्स दिए गए हैं जिस पे मुझे अपने विचार रखने हैं। एक है विमेन कोऑपरेटिव, महिला कोऑपरेटिव, और दूसरा है सस्टेनेबल बिजनेस प्रैक्टिसेस और प्रोडक्शन। मैं सबसे पहले अपने पारिवारिक पृष्ठभूमि की बात करूंगी। तो मैं एक स्वतंत्रता सेनानी परिवार गढ़वाल रीजन से आई हूँ। एक मध्यम वर्गीय परिवार है और कहीं ना कहीं मेरे आचार विचार में और कार्यक्षेत्र में उस चीज़ का एक इन्फ्लुएंस रहा है। मेरा कार्यक्षेत्र पिछले 8 वर्षों से लद्दाख हिमालय में है
और पिछले 1 वर्ष में चमोली उत्तराखंड का जो बद्रीनाथ का इलाका है, वहाँ की नीतीमाणा घाटी है, वहाँ से भी मैं जुड़ी हूँ। कोऑपरेटिव्स की अगर मैं बात करूँ तो बचपन से, स्कूल से, कॉलेज से अमूल, कुदुमश्री, लिज्जत पापड़, इस तरह के उदाहरण हम पढ़ते आ रहे हैं। और ये बहुत ही गर्व की बात है कि समय का जो टेस्ट है उसमें ये खरे उतर रहे हैं कि आज भी इन्हीं के उदाहरण दिए जाते हैं। और इसी बात पे हमारा दुर्भाग्य भी छुपा हुआ है कि इतने वर्षों बाद भी सिर्फ यही उदाहरण दिए जाते हैं, क्योंकि बोला जाता है कि बहुत सारे स्वयं सहायता ग्रुप हैं, ये वाले प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, वो वाले प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, ये इवेंट हुआ है, तो कोऑपरेटिव्स को, एफपीओज को प्रमोट नहीं किया जाता है। तो अगर मैं एक अपने संक्षिप्त से, आप लोगों जैसा मेरा बहुत वास्ट एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, लेकिन लद्दाख और उत्तराखंड में जब मैं काम कर रही हूँ तो मैं कोऑपरेटिव्स की बार्गेनिंग पावर को समझ पा रही हूँ कि किस तरीके से जब महिलाएं साथ में जुड़ती हैं तो वो बड़ा बिजनेस सोच सकती हैं। आज लूम्स ऑफ लद्दाख सोच रहा है कि स्टार्टिंग में उनको अगर कोई फैशन वीक अपने फैशन सस्टेनेबल वाले ट्रेंडिंग वर्ड को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए चैरिटी में एक स्टॉल देता था, तो आज हम एक बार्गेनिंग पावर की तरह एज अ डिज़ाइनर ब्रांड खड़े हो सकते हैं। आज कोऑपरेटिव की जो महिलाएं हैं लूम्स ऑफ लद्दाख की, उन्होंने पैसे मिलाकर अपने सेंट्रल हेड ऑफिस के लिए ज़मीन खरीदी है। वहीं एक ग्रुप जो चुशूल में है, उन्होंने अपना खुद से दिमाग लगाया कि नहीं, ये तो ज़मीन नहीं दे रहे हैं क्योंकि डिपार्टमेंट्स को अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए ज़मीन चाहिए, तो हम क्या करें, हम ये जो बंजर ज़मीन है जो नाले से अफेक्टेड है, हम उसमें पुश्ता लगाएंगे। पैसा कहाँ से लाएंगे? एनआरएलएम को कहते हैं हमें पैसा दो, हम पुश्ता लगाएंगे, हम उस ज़मीन को रिक्लेम करेंगे और क्योंकि वो सरकारी कागज़ों में बंजर ज़मीन है उसको लीज पे लेंगे। तो ये इस तरीके से एंटरप्रेन्योरियल सोच पाना, ये एक जब बहुत सारी महिलाएं जुड़ती हैं तो ये तभी हो पाता है, क्योंकि जब एक का मोटिवेशन डाउन होता है तो दूसरे खड़ी हो जाती है। एक के आइडियाज़ एक दूरी तक चलते हैं तो दूसरी उसको आगे लेके जाती है। तो जो कोऑपरेटिव है उसमें हम इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल भी सोच सकते हैं, उसकी आशा भी हम कर सकते हैं। हम पलायन जो ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में हो रहा है उसको रोकने की एक अभिलाषा को भी पाल सकते हैं। और एक परिवार के जो सारे बच्चे होते हैं, सबके सब तो डॉक्टर इंजीनियर नहीं बनना चाहते ना, ना ही बन सकते हैं, और बनने के बाद भी कई हैं जो वापस ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में वापस आना चाहते हैं। तो उन बच्चों के लिए जो इंडस्ट्रीज बनानी है, वो एक ऑप्शन, वो जो पोटेंशियल है वो कोऑपरेटिव्स और एफपीओज में है। क्योंकि मेरे सिर्फ 8 साल के एक्सपीरियंस में मैं स्वयं सहायता समूह में ये देख पा रही हूँ कि हम बहुत अच्छी प्रदर्शनियों में जा रहे हैं, महिलाएं जा रही हैं, लेकिन जब उस बिजनेस को स्केल अप करने की बात आती है, क्या वो महिला 500 B2B ऑर्डर को फुलफिल कर सकती है टाइम बाउंड मैनर में? नहीं कर सकती। हम डिपार्टमेंट्स लेके जाते हैं, 500 टोकरियां नहीं बन सकती हैं 3 महीने के पीरियड में। तो फिर इतने बड़े कॉर्पोरेट बिजनेस हाउसेस को, मैं कह रही हूँ कि लद्दाख का पश्मीना है, लद्दाख का पश्मीना है, बहुत सारे स्वयं सहायता ग्रुप हैं और 10 हमने एंटरप्रेन्योर्स खड़े कर दिए हैं, लेकिन इटली का ब्रांड आएगा, वो अपनी ट्रेसेबिलिटी टेक्नोलॉजी का कोलैबोरेशन करेगा लोकल लोगों के साथ, एक को बोलेगा भाई यू विल बी द इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट, तुम फार्म देखो, और फार्म टू फैशन पूरा वो अपना लेके जाएगा। और ये सिर्फ भारत के पश्मीना की कहानी नहीं है, ये हो चुका है। ये लोरो पियाना एक इटली का ब्रांड है, उन्होंने पेरू की गवर्नमेंट के साथ एक्सक्लूसिव अग्रीमेंट किया है वहाँ के एक बहुत ही मशहूर और फेबल्ड फाइबर विकुना के लिए, लेकिन वहाँ का जो लोकल आदमी है वो हर पर्वतीय जिले के लोगों की तरह कुक, ड्राइवर, गाइड वहीं तक सीमित है, और जो ब्रांड है वो उसके प्रॉफिट्स जो हैं वो वहाँ की लोकल इकोनॉमी को नहीं मिल रहे हैं। इसलिए मैं महिला कोऑपरेटिव्स को और एफपीओज के मतलब सपोर्ट में हूँ और उनमें बिलीव करती हूँ। महिलाओं की अगर मैं जहाँ तक बात करूँ तो मैं महिला कोऑपरेटिव क्यों बोल रही हूँ, क्योंकि कोऑपरेटिव कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेस की तरह किसी के जीवन का 1 से 3 दशक सैक्रिफाइस मांगता है, एक कंसिस्टेंसी चाहता है। उस कंसिस्टेंसी को पुरुष जिनको आज की जिम्मेदारियां निभानी है, अपनी जिम्मेदारियां निभानी है, वो शायद नहीं दे पाए, लेकिन जो रूरल महिला है या शहरी महिला भी है जो फाइनेंशियली डिपेंडेंट है, उसकी कोई चाह नहीं है, उसकी चमड़ी मोटी है और वो किसी पेट्रियार्कल बार्गेन के सिस्टम का पार्ट नहीं है, उसको कोई करियर प्रोग्रेशन की भी चाह नहीं है। हमें उस करियर प्रोग्रेशन की चाह नहीं है, हम सिस्टम का पार्ट नहीं है, इसलिए हम आज़ाद हैं। तो हम कंसिस्टेंटली उस इंडस्ट्री को बना सकते हैं। स्टार्टिंग में हम जुड़ते हैं, ये मैंने उत्तराखंड में भी देखा और मैंने लद्दाख में भी देखा कि जो ये महिलाएं जुड़ी हैं, कहीं ना कहीं स्टार्टिंग में हम सब इसलिए जुड़े हैं कि सबको अपने आप को साबित करना है। कि बचपन में तो मेरे पिताजी कहते थे कि देश के नाम पैसा लगा रहे हैं, बचपन में तो मेरी मम्मी कहती थी कि तुम बहुत अच्छा बुनाई करती हो और ये बहुत एंटरप्रेन्योरल है मेरी लड़की। और एक आचे शकीला है, वो बताती हैं कि किस तरीके से वो दूध इकट्ठा करके बेचती होती थी, लेकिन उसके बाद शादी हो गई और वो कहीं ना कहीं उनका जो उस तरह का वो था वो उसको रियलाइज़ नहीं कर पाई। तो शुरू में कहीं ना कहीं सब लोग अपने आप को साबित करने के लिए कोऑपरेटिव्स या एफपीओ से जुड़ते हैं, लेकिन ओवर टाइम उनका जो मातृत्व भाव है, जो एक माँ अपने बच्चे में उसको नर्चर करती है और उसके लिए कंसिस्टेंसी चाहिए होती है और पेशेंस चाहिए होता है, वो उस बिज़नेस में ला पाती हैं। और वो क्योंकि किसी सिस्टम का पार्ट नहीं है, कोई प्रमोशन नहीं चाहिए, कोई प्रोजेक्ट नहीं करना है, इसलिए वो उसमें टाइम देंगी। इसलिए महिला कोऑपरेटिव्स को, एफपीओज़ को प्रमोट करने की बहुत बहुत आवश्यकता है। इस तरह के जो ओएफपीओज़ जो हैं वो R&D भी ला पाते हैं। अभी हम लद्दाख पश्मीना में 40,000 क्विंटल इनका रॉ मटेरियल होता है। अब हम हैंड स्पिनिंग कर रहे हैं। हम हैंड स्पिनिंग में कितना हम स्केलेबिलिटी लेके आएंगे, हमें ऑर्गेनिक भी रखना है उस फाइबर को, और उस फाइबर को हमें वॉल्यूम में भी लेके आना है, इकोलॉजी के बैलेंस में। तो उसमें कहीं ना कहीं R&D चाहिए होगा। वो R&D हमारे SHGs और जो इंडिविजुअल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं कितना कर पाएंगे, किस तरीके से हम बैकवर्ड लिंकेज ला पाएंगे। हम नेपाल की क्योंकि मेरा क्षेत्र अभी टेक्सटाइल क्राफ्ट लद्दाख और उत्तराखंड है, तो मैं उसी के इर्द गिर्द के एग्जाम्पल्स देके अपनी बात को रख रही हूँ। जब हम कोई भी चीज़ शुरू करते हैं तो हम बैकवर्ड लिंकेज की भी बात करते हैं और हम मार्केट को भी समझने की कोशिश करते हैं। हम इंटरनेशनल लिटरेचर और इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेजेस कंपैरेटिव जो स्टडीज़ हुई हैं उनसे समझते हैं कि क्या चीज़ हो गई जो हमें नहीं करनी है। तो मैंने आपको लोरो पियाना और पेरू का एग्जाम्पल दिया। फिर हमने देखा कि हमारा नेपाल का जो चांगरा पश्मीना इंडस्ट्री, वहाँ बहुत सारा स्किलिंग हुआ, बहुत सारे यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स आए, लेकिन उनका बैकवर्ड लिंकेज स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं था। बैकवर्ड लिंकेज स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं था तो उनका जो चरवाहा है वो धीरे धीरे उसने अपने बकरी पालना ही छोड़ दिया। और जो बच्चे हैं जिन्होंने अपने ब्रांड्स बनाए, वो मैक्सिमम वहाँ जो टूरिस्ट आते हैं उनके लिए सोवेनियर्स, गिफ्ट्स इसी के लिए सीमित हैं। लेकिन वो एक कॉरपोरेट एंटिटी जिसको स्केलिंग अप के बाद आता है, R&D के बाद आता है, उसमें वो नहीं बढ़ पाए। तो दूसरा, NABARD ने मुझसे अपेक्षा करी है कि मैं सस्टेनेबिलिटी इन बिजनेस प्रैक्टिसेस और प्रोडक्शन की बात करूं। बिजनेस सस्टेनेबिलिटी अगेन इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल से आती है और समय देकर आती है। जब हम किसी प्रोजेक्ट को 2 या 3 साल के लिए फ्लोट करते हैं और उसको समय देते हैं, तो वो हमारा एक तरीके से सिर्फ हम आइडिएशन स्टेज और पायलट स्टेज में ही होते हैं। उसके बाद आता है आपका स्टार्टअप स्टेज और उसके बाद आता है स्केलिंग अप, जिसमें हमको उसकी प्रॉपर कैश फ्लो मैनेजमेंट होता है। ऐसे चीज़ से आप पूछिए जितने भी ये लगे हैं, किस तरीके से इनकी प्रोडक्ट कॉस्टिंग होती है। ये जो प्रोडक्ट कॉस्टिंग होती है, क्या वो इसके लिए इस बार का रॉ मटेरियल का तो पैसा निकाल रहे हैं, अगली बार के रॉ मटेरियल का पैसा निकल रहा है उनका कि नहीं निकल रहा है। तो ये सारी समझ आना, कैश फ्लो मैनेजमेंट होना, टैली को मेंटेन करना, बैंक से रिकंसाइल करना, ये सब चीज़ें धीरे धीरे कंसिस्टेंटली इंस्टीट्यूशन बिल्डिंग से होती हैं। और वो तब होगा, मेरे संक्षिप्त एक्सपीरियंस में, कि हम स्टार्टिंग में किसी प्रोजेक्ट को बहुत पैसा ना लगाएं, हम स्टार्टिंग में उसमें थोड़ा सा लगाएं और देखें कि दम है कि नहीं, मतलब प्रूफ ऑफ कंसेप्ट, और वो उसको फ्लो करें उस मनी को कि ये अपने आप से क्या कर रहे हैं, प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट टेस्ट करें और बैकवर्ड लिंकेज की स्ट्रेंथ देखें। उसके बाद फिर हम उस 2 या 3 साल के बाद फिर हम उस पर स्केलिंग अप के लिए और बाकी इंस्टीट्यूशन बिल्डिंग के लिए पैसा लगाएं। क्योंकि अभी जो मैं ऑब्जर्व कर रही हूँ, जब पहले के 2-3 साल में हम बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स फ्लोट कर देते हैं, उन पे पैसा लगा देते हैं, उसमें हमारा ह्यूमन रिसोर्स आ जाता है, बहुत प्रोफेशनल्स आते हैं, रूरल मैनेजमेंट के MBA होते हैं, कुछ डिज़ाइनर्स होते हैं, और वो उस तरीके से प्रोजेक्ट्स को बनाते हैं। जब वो 2-3 साल का फंडिंग ख़त्म होता है तो ये यंग प्रोफेशनल्स वहाँ से चले जाते हैं, क्योंकि ये तो अपना CV बना रहे हैं, अब दोबारा उस प्रोजेक्ट को पैसा मिलेगा नहीं, और वो प्रोजेक्ट जो है वो वहाँ डाई डाउन कर जाएगा, क्योंकि जो वहाँ की महिलाएं हैं वो इन प्रोफेशनल्स पे डिपेंडेंट थी। तो क्यों ना शुरू के 2-3 साल में कम पैसा दिया जाए और इनकी खुद की क्षमताओं को बढ़ाया जाए। उसमें जो फाउंडर्स होते हैं, फैसिलिटेटर्स होते हैं, जो फील्ड फंक्शनरीज होते हैं, उनको इनके साथ जुड़ना पड़ेगा, कंसिस्टेंटली मन से जुड़ना पड़ेगा, इनकी क्षमताएं वहाँ पे बढ़ानी पड़ेंगी। उसके बाद जब ये महिलाएं खुद से सक्षम हैं, इनकी कैपेबिलिटीज़ डेवलप हो गई है कि टैली क्या होता है, टैली छोड़िए, बुक कीपिंग कैसे करते हैं, कि रॉ मटेरियल कैसे देना है, रॉ मटेरियल कैसे लाना है, हमारे हब एंड स्पोक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग मॉडल में संचालिका का क्या क्या रोल है, जब ये महिलाएं समझ गई हैं, तब जब ये प्रोफेशनल्स आएंगे तो इन महिलाओं को उनसे काम लेना भी आएगा, और ये बिजनेस 50% बिजनेस में, मतलब महिलाओं में ओनरशिप आ चुकी होगी, फिर फंडिंग हो या ना हो, ये बिजनेस नहीं मरेगा। तो इस तरह का मेरा अभी तक का अनुभव रहा है। जहाँ तक कि सस्टेनेबल प्रोडक्शन की बात है, जितना ज़्यादा बैकवर्ड लिंकेज और FP और कोऑपरेटिव फॉर्मेशन स्ट्रॉन्ग होगा, उतना क्लोज टू सोर्स होंगे, तो प्रोडक्शन जो एक्टिविटीज़ हैं वो सस्टेनेबल होंगी ही होंगी। अभी हम क्या देखते हैं, बहुत सारी क्योंकि हमें यूटिलाइज करना है मनी को, तो हमने शॉप्स खोल ली हैं, और बहुत ही अच्छा इंटेंशन है, बहुत ही अच्छा एफर्ट्स है। हमने दालों की दुकान खोली अगर उत्तराखंड की बात करें, लेकिन क्योंकि हमारा पीछे का बैकवर्ड लिंकेज इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं है, फिर हमें एक मोमेंट ऐसा आएगा कि इतने सारे रिटेल स्टोर्स को चलाने के लिए हम वो दालें कहीं से भी लाएंगे और वो दुकानें भरेंगे, और जब वो दालें हम कहीं से भी लाएंगे तो सस्टेनेबल प्रोडक्शन तो वहीं पे डिफीट हो गया पर्पस। सो द की इज गुड बैकवर्ड लिंकेज एंड फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस और कोऑपरेटिव्स को प्रमोट करना, SHGs से अब नेक्स्ट स्टेप बेसिकली, और महिलाएं इसमें कर सकती हैं, क्योंकि स्पेशली फाइनेंशियली डिपेंडेंट महिलाएं जो अभी बच गई हैं गांव में, शहरों में, वो अपने घर की दैनिक कार्यों के साथ, अपने सीजनल पैटर्न ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन, लाइवस्टॉक के साथ वो इस तरह का काम कर सकती हैं, समय दे सकती हैं। उनको बस एक माहौल की ज़रूरत है। इसमें मुझे अयोध्या सिंह उपाध्याय जी की जो कविता है उसकी कुछ पंक्तियाँ याद आ रही हैं, क्योंकि ये जो महिला है ये अपने बचपन वाले घर से तो निकल चुकी है ना, और एक बूंद बढ़कर बादलों की गोद से ये आगे बढ़ी, कुछ डरी हुई, कुछ सहमी हुई, कुछ अनमनी की, हे देव मेरे भाग्य में क्या है, सीप की गोद में वो जाकर गिरी और मोती बनी। जो NABARD इंस्टीट्यूशन है या इस तरह के और डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं जो प्रमोट करते हैं महिला एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को, कोऑपरेटिव्स को, FPOs को, उनको वो सीप बनना है। उनको अपने में एक जागृति लानी है कि हम फैसिलिटेटर्स हैं। एज अ फाउंडर मैं फैसिलिटेटर हूँ। जब ये हमारे अंदर आ जाएगा तो ये जो महिलाएं ये अपने आप मोती बनेंगी, अपने आप ये बिजनेस स्केल अप होगा। जो समस्याएं आज सारी मैम लोगों ने बोला है कि हम SHG से आगे नहीं बढ़ पा रहे हैं, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है कन्वर्जेंस का प्रॉब्लम है, कहीं ना कहीं मैं, मेरा और ये सब वाली जो भावनाएं बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग हो जाती हैं। तो इसी के साथ मैं अपनी बात को विराम देना चाहूँगी। और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, पहले 3 साल में कॉन्फ्रेंसेस और इवेंट्स में जाने की मुझे बहुत रुचि होती थी। उसके बाद मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि सब अपने स्कीम्स और प्रोजेक्ट्स और नंबर्स दिखा रहे हैं, लेकिन जब मैं फील्ड में जाती थी तो कुछ और भावना आती थी। तो उसके बाद मैंने थोड़ा सा कम किया। मैंने सोचा मेरे 4 बच्चे हैं, एक मेरी 5 महीने की है, एक मेरे 5 साल का है, ये अपने बायोलॉजिकल बच्चे हैं, एक लूम्स ऑफ लद्दाख 8 साल का है, एक लूम्स ऑफ नीतिमान आने वाला है बद्रीनाथ के पास, और वो प्योरली लोग चाहते हैं, वो अभी 1 साल का है। मैं इन पे ध्यान दूंगी, फिर 10-15 साल बाद जब नंबर्स से हम आगे बढ़ जाएंगे तब इवेंट्स वगैरह करेंगे। बट क्योंकि ये NABARD है जिन्होंने हमें तब भी साथ दिया था और हमेशा साथ देते हैं, और मैं मन से आभारी हूँ इस तरह के कार्यक्रम में आने के लिए। थैंक यू।
Thank you, madam. Thank you. So, I also have some questions, but I'm reserving them because of lack of time. So, we can take a few questions from the audience.
I am C. Ramesh Rao from National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation. I compliment NABARD for organizing such an important event. For me, this is the real Kumbh Mela of brainstorming in rural development. To Abhilasha ma'am, हम लोग आपसे पार्टनर करना चाहेंगे उत्तराखंड में और लद्दाख में जहाँ आप काम कर रही हैं, और काले मैडम को मैं ये बोलना चाहूँगा कि हम आपको B2C में हेल्प कर सकते हैं। वी आर वर्किंग विद द गोट ट्रस्ट और उनके पास पशु बाजार वेबसाइट है, और गोट रियरिंग फॉर एससीज में बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस है। गोट हेड्स इंक्रीज नहीं होते हैं क्योंकि एससीज के पास लैंड ही नहीं होती है। और स्मृति शरण मैम से मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा, मैम हमने MORD से ऑलरेडी टच बेस किया हुआ है, और क्लस्टर लेवल ग्रुप्स को फेडरेशंस के थ्रू डायरेक्ट फंड्स चैनलाइज करने के लिए हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं, और we'll take this matter forward. And to Gloria Swarupa madam, I would like to request her to provide us handholding and mentoring experts for the SC entrepreneur units which we will be piloting. And to Kalpana madam, kindly have a partnership with NSFDC also. I'll be sharing my cards and all. So with this, I once again congratulate NABARD. And we have also tied up with Jivika recently, and with Jivika we are going to conduct an entrepreneurship development and capacity building program for 50 Lakhpati Didis and see how we can scale up their units and income to 3 lakh to 5 lakh. Thank you very much.
निर्भीक है तू नार है. Smriti ma'am, thank you so much for highlighting few things that about the rural and the caretaking economy that you mentioned about. You mentioned about the ease of loan, which now with Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, account aggregator modules have come up. So it's just the right time when you have taken charge of the 2 crore Lakhpati. I was privileged to be working with NABARD on the Digital Nari app. I don't have a question. I am actually confident that the 50% GDP reserve of the nation will now uprise from here. So हम कहते हैं कि यही माटी उभरेगी, यही जर्रा चमकेगा. और जो ये लखपति दीदी का आवाहन है, आपने एक तरह से ब्रिज बना दिया है मास भारत में, और ये इंडिया को और भारत को कनेक्ट करेगा. So compliments to you and all the best to everyone. Thank you.
Hi. Can I? Hi, good afternoon. Very nice to hear from these two brilliant ladies who spoke so from the heart. One thing we want to just share, and this is a model we've been following for the last about 14 years. Very slow model. We say it creation of the wealth by the underprivileged for themselves through community enterprise development, which both of you are doing. And we don't want to just keep it at that stage. So till now, the evolution of the FPOs hasn't happened that they can be funded directly by a VC fund or an angel fund, which you don't want. The problem is the moment you have angel and VC fund, they will take on ownership. What we call is something very interesting. We call it philanthropic investments, because this community-owned enterprises needs to have the shareholding has to be mostly to the community. So we call something like a philanthropic investments, where we bring in people who are willing to give in and invest money. We just did it a couple of our companies. And they will give, and they will have some shareholding, but they will take very little share, because we do a higher valuation for the companies. They're not doing it for return of the investment, they are doing further. So some things of this kind, I think then soon what will happen, you have FPO, she has an FPO or FPC, they cannot be funded, so you have to have a body over it which can go to the stock market. not social stock market, right? We want to mainstream, community enterprises owned by underprivileged. We have been living in the world of SHGs, livelihoods for too long. Enough of livelihoods and enough of SHGs. Now we have to, the strength of it is bringing them together, which both of you are doing. They're the first step. And the next step is to strengthen them by making it mainstream. And it's not very far away. You have already, done the main steps, because the only thing you have to do is that, get it to, a overlying body on the top, which can be funded by real money. You can still get, money from the bank, but, they are very difficult to get. The challenge is to get. So I would love to work with both of you. We'll share with you what you do. The organization which I'm the chairperson of is called Total Start Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Developers. We work in 15 states. I met people from Ladakh, Looms, from your organization. There was a Muhammad Ali who was running it. I just went to your stall, I saw it. It's a very pleasure meeting, and madam and gentlemen, it was so good to hear whatever you had to share. We'll connect with you I want to emphasize on the thought of creation of wealth by the underprivileged for themselves, through not the typical model we are following till now, but taking it over, going beyond, and I'm very willing to share what we are trying to do. We have 5 companies we have formed, which are owned by underprivileged companies. They are all private limited or limited company. One of them is limited company. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, sir, myself Shankar Naik from Andhra Pradesh. So regarding this FEOs thing, it's a grassroots problem which we are facing, like the office bearers who are the signatories of FEOs. So what problem they are facing is, like, when they are the signatories, their Aadhaar card has been linked to their bank accounts. When in FEOs there are a lot of business transactions are going on, and at the end of the year, these women members who are the signatories, they are getting notice from income tax as well as from GST. They have to pay like that and all. So I had requested this problem in several platforms, and there are a lot of dignitaries and government, these NABARD officers are there. Please look into this matter, because these poor women who are when they get notices from income tax and GST regarding this, they are afraid to continue as the signatories. So very good women members who are very active and all, they say, sir, we are getting family problems, and my husband is asking, my father-in-law is asking. So this notice I had received like that, and requesting all the NABARD officers just to see this, and wherever the action can be taken to solve this problem. Okay, right.
Definitely,
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So I think we'll close with the question answer. I had some questions, but because of the time deficiency, I'm not.
महिलाओं और सज्जनों, आज की चर्चा बेहद ज्ञानपूर्ण और प्रेरणादायक रही. Thank you to our speakers, panelists and moderator for such a thought-provoking discussion. अब समय आ गया है कि हम अपने सभी माननीय स्पीकर्स और पैनलिस्ट्स को एक छोटी सी भेंट के रूप में अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करें. May I now request Dr. A.K. Sood to kindly present a memento to our eminent keynote speaker, Ms. Smriti Saran. Please join me in applauding our distinguished speaker as she receives her token of appreciation. I now request Shri Mani Kumar, Chief General Manager, NABARD, to kindly join us on stage and present a memento to honor our lead speaker, Dr. Prasun Kumar Das. जोरदार तालियां हमारे माननीय स्पीकर के लिए. Next, Ms. Kalpana Ajayan. Let's give her a big round of applause. Dr. Swarupa. Let's hear it for Dr. Swarupa. Ms. Suwarna Kale. जोरदार तालियां हमारी माननीय पैनलिस्ट के लिए। मिस अभिलाषा बहुगुणा, आइए हमारी प्रतिष्ठित पैनलिस्ट को ताली बजाकर सम्मानित करें। अब मैं हमारे सभी स्पीकर्स, पैनलिस्ट और मॉडरेटर से अनुरोध करती हूं कि वे एक फोटो के लिए मंच पर आगे आएं। Let us capture this moment with a group photograph to commemorate this meaningful occasion.